On your mark.
And they are off in this the second heat in the preparatory girls 100 meters qualifier. Who is it going to be? St. David's Catholic Secondary. Stars is on the outside, but it's going to be St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School 1, St. David's Catholic Secondary 2, St. Mark's in 3. And the judges will tell us officially what would have transpired and the times associated. You've just witnessed the completion of heat number 2 in the preparatory girls 100-meter qualifier. We move.
Hubbard's shipping department handles freight from Europe, the UK, the Americas, and the Caribbean via Geest and King Ocean lines. King Ocean services arrive in Grenada weekly from Florida, moving full container loads of dry and refrigerated cargo, heavy equipment, and vehicles. Geest line sails fortnightly from Portsmouth to St. George's with break bulk and containerized cargo. Consolidation and inter-island services are also available. Hubbard's shipping department for quality service.
Listeners and viewers throughout the length and breadth of the world, especially those of you logged on to Facebook, we're here at the Q&A Athletics Stadium for what is expected to be, Joe, maybe one of the most exciting Intercol games in a long time. Intercol Games 2018, especially in the female category.
No arguments over that, Leslie. So in the female category, we'll be kicking things off in event number 86, heat 3 of 5 is the girls 100 meters dash. We give the principals for this one. There's Danielle Modest for St. Mark's Secondary. She runs out of 1. Serena Frank occupies lane 2 for Boca. St. David's Catholic is represented by Aliyah Gihari. In lane number 4 is Ronica Williams for St. Rose Modern Secondary. Sass is there. Donlin Patrice nestled in lane number 5. Sitting in lane number 6 is Nikki Jode for Hillsborough Secondary, and Grenville Secondary in the person of Nirvana St. Louis is in the outside on lane number 7. Your principals for the upcoming event, heat 3 of 5. It is the third event on the track, and certainly, as you've intimated, Leslie, it promises to be an electrifying day. The day ended yesterday. We'll get to that as soon as we go through this race. Leslie, you would call it as you see it.
So they own the starters orders, and it's, as Joe said, heat 3 of 5, and we'll see who will emerge. The winner of this event will automatically go into the finals. There are going to be 5 heats, and then the next 3 best times would also accompany the top finishers into the finals. Prep girls, we have St. Mark's Secondary, Boca, St. David's Catholic Secondary, St. Rose Modern Secondary, Sass, Hillsborough Secondary, and the Grenville Secondary. Getting some final instructions from the starter. Maybe later on, Joe, we'll also have a conversation on the level of officiating over these 3 days. I'm sure there's quite a lot to be said on either sides of the spectrum.
Or maybe you probably say some instances the lack of it.
100 meters prep girls, heat 3 of 5. There they go. Who comes up looking good here? Sass is looking good here with Donlin Patrice by the St. David's Catholic Secondary. Sass is going to win this one by a hair, I would think, just by a strand of hair, Joe. Sass and Donlin Patrice, St. David's Catholic Secondary, and Aliyah Gidhari seems to be in second, and I think maybe it's St. Mark's Secondary in Dale Modest who may have just copped the 3rd position.
Yeah, no doubt, Leslie, and I hope they're not using my standards in terms of hair length to measure, of course, the distances at which these girls are winning. If they're using me as a template, I'll probably even earn it. There would not be much to measure anyway. But certainly we just saw the completion of heat 3 of 5 on the track, of course. It is going to be coming up next, heat 4 of 5. Keeping in mind also, taking place simultaneously this morning, we expecting to have the girls long jump in the sub-junior, the boys javelin throw in the prep. Smithy, we talked about the officiating, or some may argue the lack of it. Whichever side of the fence you probably. But while we at it though, we first supposed to highlight the fact that we ended yesterday. There were 2 issues in contention. that of what transpired with the Anglican High School in the 4x1. It has been made official that they were officially disqualified. Secondly, there was a question of an infringement against the GBSS, whether or not the baton was passed outside of the box. Spoke with the officials this morning and they confirmed, yes, there was a review, but what happened on the field remained. He got it, according to the officials, within the box.
Well, what must be mentioned here? Well, the issue with Anglican High School is clear.
That was quite clear.
They have been disqualified. The contentious issue with the GBSS, from what I understand, even covering the national champs, the transition zone has been increased this year from 20 meters to 30 meters. But yet still, if you look back at the review carefully,
watching the 53rd Intercol Scotiabank Games, brought to you in part by Hubbard's, Grenada Paper Products, Bryden 7 Seas, CGM Gallagher Insurance, the Housing Authority of
And they're off. 100 meters, sub-junior boys.
Grenada's #1 track and field event is here again. The Inter-Secondary School Championships is here again at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. You must be there to experience the intense rivalry between the secondary school athletes on the track and in the field. Blame yourself only if you miss Scotiabank Intercol 2018 at the National Stadium. You will not forgive yourself if you're not there on day 1, 2, and 3. The 53rd Intercol Championship takes place on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd March, starting 9 in the morning and ending 6:30 each day. Main pavilion, day 1, $20. Day 2, $25. Day 3, $30. Season pass, $60. The secondary stand, day 1, $15. Day 2, $20. And day 3, $25. Bleachers, $10 day 1, $10 day 2, and $15 day 3. Season pass, $25. Children 12 and under, you pay $10 for the main pavilion and $5 for the secondary pavilion. The 53rd Intercol Scotiabank Games comes to you compliments Hubbard's and Grenada Paper Products. Alma mater. I think for Convent Grenville, certainly they're smelling it, they're thirsty for it, they're saying to themselves, this is the year, this is the time, this is our moment, it is our moment in the sun and we need to shine.
So we say good morning to you on Facebook, Frank Alexander Candela, we know him as the Shellman, Joe.
Oh yes.
He's viewing, he's there in Texas I think it is, and we say good morning to you, and good morning to all of you who are logged on to Facebook.
That one, it is supposed to be heat 5, 4 of 5, that is. We're still in the prep division. The lane assignment, Anglican High runs it of 1. McDonald College is nestled in 2. That's for Shania Fullerton, GCA. Zoa Belford runs out of 4. Zalika Khalees occupies lane 5 for St. Rose Modern Secondary. Shadell Joseph is nestled in lane number 6 for Westerhall Iguanas. Tiffany Palmer, she occupies lane number 7 for Beacon High. And Daniela Wells, she's running on the outside in lane number 8 for Convent St. Andrew. Your lane assignment for the next heat on the track, heat 4 of 5. This is the 4th event of the day, event number 86.
Remember, the top finisher advances to the final, and then the next 3 best times would join the 5 top athletes.
That record set by Keena Thomas 2 years ago, a time of 12.58 seconds.
And I'm happy that you mentioned Keena Thomas. She's having a phenomenal meet here. She ran 12.02 seconds yesterday as a sub-junior, which was faster than what the seniors ran.
It brings a lot to the question. We had that prep from GCA that ran the 3000 Open. And I guess you would assume now that the option to introduce the preps into Intercol, it is paying off. It gives these young athletes an early opportunity literally to start positioning themselves for an upward trajectory at something greater later on in life. But of course, we In these early days here at the stadium, the wind, of course, much stronger today than it has been in the last couple of days. We must say, early this morning, Smithy, the rain, there was the presence of the rain. It came in late yesterday evening, sort of to quell things a bit. This morning, it made an early appearance, but I think in the heavens, the other elements that coexist says, listen. The sun said, rain. I know you when you're excited. We're seeing some migration.
The rain is coming now again because you see the students on the bleachers seeking some shelter downstairs the bleachers, especially those from the SJC St. Andrew and St. Andrew Secondary. We see a lot of movements. But I'm not sure if they are relocating.
I'm not sure if it's rain because looking at from our camera lenses here, it seems to be might just relocating them. I'm not sure. But there is some level of internal migration down there on the bleachers, and those areas, Leslie, it is designated for the student population. Because what the authorities have attempted to do is to separate the school population from the general population.
Joe, maybe we can seize the moment to speak about the scores at the end of day 2.
The scores at the end of day 2, I'm telling you, this is simply what it is. We could probably start off with the girls, Leslie.
So in the girls categories, we had Grenville Secondary on 1, Westmoreland Secondary 3, Happy Hills Secondary 18, J.W. Fletcher 20, Wesley College 25, Boca Secondary 27, St. John's Christian Secondary 49, McDonald College 63, Grenada Christian Academy 63.5 points, Bishop's College 84, St. David's Catholic Secondary 92.5 points, St. Joseph Convent St. George, an impressive performance, they're on 121, Hillsborough Secondary on 135, SAS is in 3rd position on 181, the defending champions Anglican High School on 234, and up front is the St. Joseph Convent St. Andrew on 261 points.
That's in the girls division. In the boys, Wester Hall, Wesley College, they're at the bottom of the ladder, they're at 1 point. Happy Hill Secondary, they're on 13. J.W. Fletcher, they're at 8 points. St. John's Christian Secondary 10. Westmoreland Secondary, they are on 15. We'll probably just put a pause on that, Leslie, as we go down to action on the track. Heat 4 and 5, event number 86.
Well, they're under the starters' instructions. And in this one, we will see Simon Fullerton, Belfont, Calise, Joseph, Palmer, and Wells. There they go, down the track. SJC St. Andrews looking good already. And that's Daniela Wells. Daniela Wells of SJC St. Andrew making a name here for herself in the heat and sending a clear message. Remember, Anglican High School was also featured in this race with Azel Simon. So the Convent fans would feel very, very good knowing that they have already defeated High School in the heats as Convent continues to forge for championship honors. And that's right there for you. Daniela Wells of SJC St. Andrew, the winner of heat number 4 in the 100 meters for prep girls.
Well, the match continues. It is yet early days, but certainly they continued with that wave, Leslie, that they got last night. They continued with that wave, and certainly it all augurs well for them. They would need to maintain this, because certainly the Anglican High School, SAS also, the girls, are not going to sit idly by, close their eyes, and for Convent to assume that it is an easy walk in the park. That certainly isn't going to be the case.
And if we do a careful introspection in the girls category, Anglican High School appears to be very strong in the field events. Convent seems to be stronger on the track. There's Kenny Alexander who's going to be running in the final heat. In the girls, apparently they have scratched the final heat because it seems as though we're going into the 100 meters of prep boys.
We've gone into the prep boys as it is.
But I want to look here that maybe SAS and SJC St. George's might just be the spoiler for the SJC St. Andrews party, because they may just rob the Convent Grenvilles from some valuable points that Anglican High School would not be able to get. So we have to look at that as well. Godfrey doesn't seem to agree with that.
Well, we'll see how that translates itself. Also taking place in the field, there's the boys triple jumps in the junior and the boys discus throw. But on the field, we move to event number 87. It is a 100-meter dash for prep boys. At the time to beat in this one is 12.16 seconds, a record set by Tajay Grant back in 2016. The lane assignment for GSS. Stefan Felix runs out of 1. Kareem St. Bernard for JW Fletcher occupies lane 2. Japheth Sylvester, he's nestled there in lane number 3. On his outside shoulder, Rakeem McFarlane sits in lane number 4. For the Presentation Brothers College, Samuel Green is there in lane number 5. Of course, he's keeping him in check. From Wesley College is Junior Bartholomew, and on the outside, lane number 7 from St. Mark's Secondary, it is Shady Frederick. The lane assignment for the upcoming event number 87, heat 1 of 5.
So they all line up on the starting line here, and again, the top 1 from each heat plus the next 3 best times will go into the finals. GSS, JW Fletcher, St. Rose, Bishop's College, PBC, Wesley College, and St. Mark's Secondary. We only have the time here for Bishop's College. Rakeem McFarlane, he did 12.80 during the season, so let's see what he can do today. They move down the track here on the inside, looks like Grenville Secondary. But PBC is also looking good, but Grenville Secondary seems to be on the inside. Stefan Felix seems to be the winner here, and he was given some good challenge by Samuel Green from Presentation Brothers College. And
you got to say for some reason that he wasn't quite sure, trying to establish the presence of the other athletes, looking across, and you know, of course, it reduces on your ability to accept it, to maintain your acceleration. But that is what it is. He may have eventually just nicked it just by a bit. At the end, as we can see the replay, Felix on the outside, that's the Grenville Presentation Brothers College. He is down there in the middle, that's in the person.
So that was Felix on the inside actually, Stefan Felix of Grenville Secondary School.
On the inside there. So we moved to...
How do you choose your toilet paper? Just because it's soft and nice. That's how I choose my toilet paper. Made right here in the Isle of Spice. Cherish streets of Harbor Bay. Super value every day. The price is right and locally they're made. Support local when you purchase Cherish and other quality brands from Grenada Paper Products.
Bristol for McDonald College, Tafari Monroe, and for lane number 7, Tariq Barnes for Westmoreland Secondary.
Well, Joe, I can tell you the obvious favorite here will be Tejan Peterkin. He already broke the record in the 200 meters on day 1, and he's expected to do well here. But he had a mishap during the season, during the national champs. He had a false start in the 100 meters. It was a big disappointment for him, so he'd have to maintain his composure here, Joe, and not wanting to repeat that unfortunate situation.
Certainly, in those things, they have a way of crippling you mentally. But of course, Bishop's College out of lane 3, Jabani Bryden, he comes into this one with a time of 13.10 seconds. The record, Smith, for this one is 12.16 seconds, set by Tajay Grant some 2 years ago.
Tajay Grant, formerly of the Presentation Brothers College, competing now in a higher category and not being that impressive as he was in the prep category over the years. But Tejan Peterkin, one to look at here for, comes from the western side of the island, but he's a first-year student at the GBSS, has a number of records at the primary school level as well, yes. Joe. So he's one maybe we can look towards the future, a very impressive athlete in the prep category.
Day 3, Session 1, Intercol 2018.
They're on the starters orders. Heat number 2 of 5. Let's see how much of a challenge will Peterkin receive from the likes of St. Louis, McSween. They're off to a nice start here. Peterkin up from the dry phase now. Maintains a good form. Powers down the track. Is Tajon Peterkin. Peterkin is going to have an easy victory here. He wins this one. He coasts over the line. It looks like McDonald College and Tafari Monroe in second. But we expected Peterkin to have a comfortable victory in this, the preliminary of this event, and so he did.
Quite a smooth run for him. He seems rather comfortable into his zone. And certainly we will see, of course, qualifying easily. But of course, we'll look, of course, at the other times for the other heats to see, of course, how he stands up against the rest of the pack.
Well, he has already run, Joe, 12.07. The record is 12.16. So from the look of it, he has already gone past the record and slowing down towards the tape.
So that was heat 2, event number 87. Next on the track is going to be heat 3 of 5. The lane assignment, Savron Tyson for Hillsborough Secondary is going to run out of 1. For the GBSS, Anthony Modeste is going to run out of lane 2. For the PBC, Sean Habin runs out of 3. Nestled in the middle in lane 4 is Eileen Curfey of the Boca Secondary. Kevin Rennie runs out of lane 5 for Grenada Christian Academy. Jordan Andrew for Wesley College is in lane number 6. And Naradi Joseph runs out of 7 for McDonald College.
An interesting name here in the lineup, Anthony Modeste. He's actually the son of Anthony Nixon Modeste, who has been a long-time captain of the Grenada national football team. So I guess he has inherited some of those abilities in the family.
The legacy continues.
Modeste himself was a star 400-meter athlete for the GBSS.
In his days, yes, he was.
So let's see what his son Anthony Modeste here in lane 2. If he's as impressive as Nixon Modeste was back in the day.
If the saying holds true, like father, like son, then there's yet a little bit of something in the bottle, in the cookie jar for him. But we see how that translates. Event number 87, the boys 100 meters dash in the prep division. It is day 3, session number 1. And of course, I'm not sure what happened, Leslie, but the stand was nearly completely where that was. The stand that was housing the convent. They seem to a bit of movement there.
They have been relocated, Joe, to another side of the bleachers, closer to the main pavilion. So although they came down very early and took up their positions, maybe obviously took the wrong position. But there are a number of students on the outside, Joe. Maybe they will be placed in the secondary pavilion, it seems. A lot of students have assembled outside there, but we go trackside for heat number 3 in the 100 meters for prep boys. There they are, lined up here, getting ready to race down the track. 100 meters per boys. Some fidgeting there too.
A bit of it, yes, yes.
Especially coming out of lane 3, it seems. The athlete there, that's Alian Coffey or Sean Harbin of the PBC.
That's Harbin from PBC.
Harbin is a decent runner himself. Boca is inside there, that's GTC Boca. We saw them having some impressive runs throughout the 2 days so far.
That's what's his name, Young Paris. He has been holding the deal his own for them.
Chadron Paris is called. So the officials the starters having some final words to the athletes here. I'm not sure if anyone would be credited here for a false start because the gun certainly didn't go off. Might just be some caution given to them to maintain the composure while on the block.
Heat 3 of 5.
Let's see who's going to make the early running in this one. They're up and running good this time. In the middle of the track, it looks like PBC and Sean Harbin. Harbin out of lane 3. Moves away from GBSS and Boca. Harbin it is going to win this one. GBSS looks like in second with Anthony Modeste. And third, Alian Coffey of Boca Secondary School.
I mean, you're looking at the presentation Brothers College there, and that's a Sean Harbin. I mean, the presentation Brothers College in the prep division sub-junior, I mean, over the last couple of years, Leslie, they have put a really good program together and they have been delivering on the track. Of course, the challenge is that most of the boys at the PBC, they enter school very early and they exit early. So they hardly, you would find, they get into the senior years, the years where they could qualify as seniors. And as such, it kind of renders them almost impossible to ever, while they are going to challenge, whether or not they could challenge you enough to make a championship run. That's a different story.
That's a very interesting issue, Joe, because I want to take it even a little further. At the primary school championships, St. Andrews has been winning for the last 7 years. But at Intercol level, we don't see impressive prep coming out of the St. Andrews teams. So you may say two things here. That the athletes out of St. George's go to school in St. George's, or they just don't transition into good athletes when they go into the secondary school. And that's an interesting observation because St. Andrews for the last 7 years have been winning primary school sports.
Right.
But yet still we see PBC, GBSS always dominating in those two categories, prep and sub-junior.
Well, maybe it's probably Godfrey might be happy to say that the St. Andrews athletes are helping us out by journeying to St. George's to go to school.
Well, Tajay Grant is from Paradise, he goes to PBC.
Yeah, well.
Peter King comes from the western side, he goes to GBSS.
Why you,
so
have to give Godfrey additional ammunition? Eh? We're getting ready for Heat 4 or 5, event number 87. The lane assignment, St. David's Catholic Secondary. And Neil McDonald runs out of 1. GSS Devin Peters runs out of 2. Kerry Alad for Satch runs in 3. Zachary Abel for St. Rose Modern Secondary occupies lane number 4. Nestled in lane number 5 is VJ Valsin of Happy Hill Secondary. Tyrrell Bowen from Boca Secondary. And of course Ronaldo Douglas. Your lane assignments for the upcoming event number 87, Heat 4. The boys 100 meters.
A little issue there between the two athletes from SAS and Grenville Secondary. I think they're getting a little bit confused with the lanes for the 400-meter track and the lanes for the 100-meter track. As a matter of fact, the Grenville Secondary School student athlete was using the 400-meter track lane, and the SAS athlete was telling him, you need to go more to your left, you need to go around. So here he's been placed in the correct position by the starter, and he's been shown exactly which lane he's using. So the correction been made here, Joe. And a lot starter been.
Well, at least we must say, at least
that's
for
Ralph Lord,
to the officials, they're on top of this one.
He's actually giving them a run through of the lanes. We don't see that very often.
That is Ralph Lord, though.
Of course, it's Ralph Lord. It has to be Ralph Lord.
Anything less would be uncivilized when it comes to Ralph. Ralph would probably pull out the Bible, his Bible, and quote a portion of scripture for the young man, if you're asking me. But Ralph Lord stayed on top of things.
Well, he seems to have gotten it now. We can see him in the middle of the lane as they go down onto the mark, so one more time.
Event number 87, Heat 4 or 5.
That's Devin Peters out of the Grenville Secondary and Kerry Allard out of SAS. So they're up and running good this time. Let's see who makes the early running here. He looks as though it is St. Rose Modern Secondary, Zachary Abel. It is Zachary Abel challenged by Allard of SAS into second position, and in lane number 1 from St. David's Catholic Secondary, Neilon McDonald. But a good run here by Zachary Abel of St. Rose Modern Secondary.
For a prep, he features well on the radar. Quite a bit of height. It looks as though they manufactured him up there, though. Quite a big man for a prep. It would be good to see what how he builds himself. Live with him in the next couple of years.
But Joe, we've been talking a lot about Boca Secondary, but St. Rose Modern Secondary
they have featured
has had
quite
some good
prominently
performances too.
They have actually featured quite prominently. You know, it's interesting. I went over to the camp this morning, and I went to the Boca in particular. I said, guys, I don't know what is it you're doing, but it's working. And two of the young fellas said, he said, sir, we're tired. Nobody talking about us. I mean, I'm not sure if he said it jokingly, but you saw that you gotta get a sense like, wow, we gotta do something more. We need to have them talking about us. And certainly, well, you've earned it well this year, because certainly you have made an impression thus far at the games. We're getting ready for the final heat in this event, Heat 5 of 5, event number 87, and the boys 100-meter dash. The lane assignment, Kellis Andrews for Hillsborough Secondary runs out of 1. For St. Mark Secondary, Zidan Pope runs out of lane 3. Daniel George Trail for Sash runs out of lane number 4. Zale Charles, he occupies lane 5 for Happy Hill Secondary. St. John's Christian Secondary, the person of Bryden Hector, runs out of lane 6. And Shaquem Mason for St. David's Catholic occupies lane number 7. The lane assignment for the upcoming event as the final flight in this batch of event number 87, Heat 5 of 5.
So what I can tell you, Joe, is that in the prep category, GBSS has been dominating. If you look at the number of points that they have already amassed in the prep category, significantly more than any of the other schools. Presentation Brothers College is also doing well in that category, as we look now for the final heat in the 100 meters for prep boys. We'll come back to that in a short while. Only 5 athletes competing here. Let's see who makes the early running here. Zidane Pope of St. Mark Secondary is looking good in lane 2, but in lane 3 it's Daniel George Trail from SAS That's Daniel George Trill from SAS, who wins this heat and secures his place into the finals.
Well, secure his place, that he has done in an emphatic fashion. Probably didn't get the best of starts. Of course, when the gun was offset marks, of course, that's young Pope. He made the early lead for it, but certainly settled himself, got into his rhythm, got into his strides, and Trail, of course, wasn't trailing that for that long, Smitty.
I'm sure SAS will be pleased with his performance, considering that that's maybe the weakest category, and to win at least one of the heats, it means that they can be in the top 3 or maybe top 4 in the finals.
Sets them up for at least a position in the finals. In case you're wondering, it is early days down here. The decibel levels has certainly gone up a couple octaves down here at the National Stadium, and we can only imagine later on it's going to reach definite levels by the time this sport comes to a climax.
Well, that's typical of day 3 at Intercol. I can tell you, Joe, on my way in this morning, there were quite a number of people selling these air horns by the Green Bridge, and you should have seen the crowd and the decibel levels around those sellers this morning. A lot of the students who came down here as spectators were purchasing these air horns, and already you're hearing it in your speakers, the air horns, or they're blaring at the national.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our morning flight. We'll be flying at 35,000 feet, so sit back and enjoy the flight.
A strong young man begins as a fit little boy. Just 1 teaspoon of 7C's cod liver oil daily provides essential omega-3 and helps to meet important vitamin needs, giving him long life, health, and helping him live his dreams. 7C's keeps kids healthy and mothers happy.
Wells, Kenya Alexander, these were the automatic qualifiers for the 100 meters for prep girls.
We fasten our eyes back onto the track, event number 88, the girls 100 meters dash. These are the junior girls. The time to beat it, this one, 12.40 seconds. The lane assignment, heat 1 of 4. In lane number 1 for St. Mark Rose, Modern Secondary. Odessa Thomas in lane number 1. Joseph McFarlane runs out of 2 for JW Fletcher. Diamond Lewis runs out of 3 for SAS. Kenisha Kojo in 4 for Bishop's College. Natania Francois runs out of lane 5 for Grenville Secondary. Kestra Abel runs out of 6 for Convent St. George. And of course, Akeisha Williams occupies lane number 7 for McDonald College. That's the starting, but of course we've seen thus far that lanes 1 and 2. So that will be the persons of Odessa Thomas from St. Rose and Joseph McFarlane. The out of contention here. We've not seen them. So the race is limited down to SAS, McDonald College, Bishop's College, GSS, McDonald College, and Convent Grenville. St. George's, sorry.
So Leshawna George holds the record for this one of 12.40 seconds. Let's see what happens here as these 5 athletes look to qualify. The top 1 from each heat plus the next 4 best times will emerge to the finals. They've been kept in the set position here for quite some time, has to be up now. Notice only the athlete from the SJC St. George using the starting block, that's Krista Abel. The others maybe not too comfortable, or maybe may not have trained using the starting block. So SJC St. George, Krista Abel. Diamond Lewis of SAS is there. Nisha Kojo, GTC Bishop's College. And Akeisha Williams from the McDonald College. So the entire field has been charged with the green card here, so it means that anyone who false starts now would be automatically disqualified from this event. I'm sure none of the athletes would want to endure that process, and so they would remain on the block. So you may see maybe a much slower time than they would normally do, because they would want to remain on the block and not false start. They're down on the mark one more time. They're off now to a nice clean start. Making up the early run is SAS and Diamond Lewis on the inside, but SJC St. George and Krista Abel is powering away to the middle of the track, and she's going to win easily. That's Krista here. In second is McDonald College's Akeisha Williams, But SAS had a good start off, but was not able to maintain the momentum through the event.
And as you see, unfortunately, she wasn't. I guess a bit disappointed. Depending, of course, who you probably ask. Remember, we continue to make the arguments, of course, if Convent Grenville was in fact to make a bid for a championship push for the championship, they would have to be wary of what's happening in the field. But you can see, of course, it is early days, the flags are out, the flutes, the horns, and there's a heightened sense of anticipation, excitement. You know, it's interesting you speak to these athletes, students, and they come here for varied reasons, you know, Smithy. For some it's Intercol. For others, there's something a little bit more intimate to it. I'm certain for the girls in Convent, it's a bit more personal this year. Maybe over the years they just made the journey down because it is Intercol. But certainly for 2018, they're smelling it. They are smelling it.
Quite a different picture to what we saw on days 1 and days 2.
Oh, very, very contrast.
Convent, you're right, I hear not just for participation.
No.
They're here with a purpose, and the purpose is to win. It's interesting that they have been, as I said yesterday, the bridesmaid for several years.
But that is
SAS won, they were second. Anglican High School won, they were second. St. David's won, they were second. And they're smelling that victory this year.
Well, the battle lines have been drawn and they're smelling blood. I guess the next thing is to head for the jugular. Let's see how they position themselves later into the day. We get ready for the next heat of the track, heat 2 of 4, event number 88. The lane assignment, St. Mark's Secondary, runs out of 1. That's Kashina Wickham from lane 1. Chanel Felix runs out of 2 for SAS. CC Charles, yes, the perennial contender, she's in the midst there for McDonald College. Janelle Enos, Emon, she runs for McDonald College. Carla Patrick for Happy Hill Secondary. Leah Noel for Hillsborough Secondary. And Sophia Mark for the Anglican High School, the principals for the next event.
There they are. Lane 1 seems to be vacant, so we're not seeing Kashina Wickham of St. Mark's Secondary. So too is lane 6, Leah Noel of the Hillsborough Secondary School. CC Charles, McDonald College, want to look out definitely for in this event. And so too is Gemma Emmons out of Bishop's College. They're off. CC Charles getting a very good start here, and she's off the block in a flash. They're not going to be holding CC Charles here. They're running for the second position, but CC Charles is going to win this one. She does so easily now. An impressive run, a great start indeed by CC Charles of McDonald's College. And she continues to impress. She anchored the team in the finals of the 4x100 meters on day 1 to win the gold. That's CC Charles there for you. An impressive run in the preliminaries.
Quite an impressive run, of course, and saying to the rest of the field, listen guys, I am here, and I've certainly all respect due, and she certainly would be expecting, of course, to really position herself for a gold medal come the finals. We continue to see it, of course, the replay on the screen. But again, it is early days, Leslie, down here at the National Stadium. Amplified song levels, no doubt. By the time we get into the second half of the day, we certainly do expect that we probably have close to full capacity.
So Sophia Mark of Anglican High School was in second, and Chanel Felix of Snawassa SAS was in third. But Joe, we must give good credit to Anglican High School, GTC Anglican High School. They are putting up a fight as champions. They have to defend the championship. They are the obvious favorites, and they have done so quite good so far. They have been stronger in the field events, but whenever they get the opportunity on the track, they have never failed to impress.
This morning, a few of the athletes have said to me, this is not just for victory, it's for legacy. Make you pick. Legacy over just a championship victory. The victory is good, but with the victory, it consolidates the legacy as true champions.
I think it's more about victory. I think the legacy is already there for Anglican High School. I just think that they want to win. Rhonda Henry and the team at the Anglican High School are always wanting to win.
Boy, you just trying to put chills down my spine under this. The good old days. The good old days of the Queen's Park, on the bleachers.
That's right.
We're getting ready for the next event on the track, heat 3 of 4, sorry. Happy Hill Secondary runs out of 1. Hillsborough runs out of 2. High School is in 3. Convent St. Andrew runs out of 4. J.W. Fletcher is in 6. And Grenada Christian Academy runs out of lane number 7. We started this morning, Leslie, but we didn't quite get to it. For those of you that is home and you're trying to get a sense as to where the teams are, well, the GBSS, they ended day 2 on 316 points, SAS 217, Bishop's College on 139. There hasn't been any official changes to the leaderboard as yet for the day.
So in this heat, you want to look out for Nadia Alexander of SJC St. Andrew, Rikisha Edwards of Anglican High School. She is there to her left in lane 3. Aliyah Joseph, Hillsborough Secondary, one you also don't want to count out in this one. And they're off is the third of 4 preliminaries. 100 meters juniors. Nadia Alexander, SJC St. Andrew, seems to have the advantage. If she does, that's Nadia Alexander from SJC over Anglican High School, Rikisha Edwards. And again, the fans from Convents in full jubilation.
Full jubilation, no doubt. The rivalry continues. High school and the girls from Convent in Grenville. And ever so often you'll get shots of the bleachers, and you can only imagine it's a party atmosphere over there.
The largest number of spectators out here so far are those supporting SJC Grenville.
No
they came down very early, and then second is SAS. I guess GBSS, Convent St. George, because of closer proximity,
yes,
they may opt to come down a little later. But Convent came down in numbers this morning.
No arguments over that. She'll be looking at replay with event number 83, the girls 100 meters dash, and that was won quite comfortably there by Nadia Alexander of Convent St. Andrew. The final heat of the day, she stopped the clock at 12.61. Edwards from High School, 12.90. Joseph from Happy Hill, 13.29. Hillsborough Secondary, Aliyah Joseph, she stopped the clock at 13.45. And Keisha O'Neill, Christian Academy, 14.32.
Joe, what is interesting, over the years, we've always been talking about SAS, GBSS, because these are the 2 top contenders in the male. This year, maybe for the first time in a long time, maybe after the St. Davis era, that we have 2 female schools really battling neck and neck. But what is also interesting is that Convent has always been stronger on the track for the season, yes, Anglican High School in the field. And when we look at the schedule for today, Convent may just have the edge in terms of the strength for today. They appear to be the stronger team today, especially in the lower categories. So let's see how it unfolds later on.
Well, it's a tale of 4 schools, 2 cities, 2 from St. George, 2 from Big Parish. Anyway this one goes, I'm telling you, it's going to be a party somewhere. Either way, I'll be participating in one somehow or the other. But well,
Joe, you need to maintain your allegiance. You can't be a fan spinning around today's show.
No, well, see, when depending on where the party is, I may just take a formal duties to cover the event.
Quite noticeably, you're wearing blue today, Joe. Are you a traitor on board, Joe?
Well, I got expelled from the party.
You know, Joe, today is International Water Day or World Water Day. Do you know who's sponsoring SAS?
Nawasa?
I say no more, Joe.
But did I tell you that I heard the boys from Tantine say they have flood insurance? They're fully covered by Nagico.
We go back trackside, Joe. There are only 4 competitors in the final heat. You want to take us through?
Certainly. So, of course, you're looking at the lane assignment in lane number 2. Shanta Mitchell. Lane number 3. We have Rashida Charles from St. Rose Modern Secondary. Well, not quite, though.
So it's SJC Grenville. That's I make it Shante Mitchell. And she's challenged on the inside by St. John's Christian Secondary. But here comes St. Davis Catholic Secondary. How come we didn't see Jonah Thomas in this one? That's the speedster from St. Davis Catholic Secondary. And while we were late on the lane assignments, she has already won the 200 meters. She has been the fastest amongst them for the entire season. That's Jonah Thomas from St. Davis Catholic Secondary. And she's an obvious favorite for the finals.
The athlete from Convent, she pulled up halfway through. She retired quite early. It would be interesting to figure out what it may have happened to her. I'm not sure if we have the luxury, we're not picking up anything on.
That's Jonah Thomas there. She's going to be really, really
so
hard
there
to
she's
beat
on the ground. So let's look at the replay to see what happens. Out of lane 3, in lane number 2, she's still a bit labored out of the tracks though, out of the blocks. And of course, you have the speed center Alpha St. David's College. She is on the inside, blazing it away. But that is
Shante Mitchell. She pulled up.
Yes.
So maybe that's one of the bad signs for SJC St. Andrew to see one of their top athletes pulling up in the junior category.
Well, let's hope it.
They're the future stars of track and field, each one a potential world champion, and they're representing you, your hope, your pride, your honor, repping your country. See and support the best of the Caribbean's junior athletes. Catch all the thrills of the Flow Carifta Games anywhere, anytime, any device. Live and exclusively on Flow Sports.
Lane assignments. Alden Griffith runs it off lane 1 for Beacon. Erland Charles is in 2 for St. Mark's. Zarel Charles is in 3 for Wesley College. Craig DeRoche is in 4 for Bishop's College. Donnell Adams, he's nestled in lane number 5 for Hillsborough Secondary. On his outside, GBSS, Shamori Noel is in lane number 6, and McDonald College is keeping them in check. That's Patel Peters for McDonald College.
10.5 seconds, Joe, in the junior boys.
So
Kirani James. That's not going to fall in the near future.
The man himself.
From what we see coming through in track and field in Grenada, he's going to take a lot more from these athletes to erase this record.
But we're getting ready for Heat 1 of 5.
Interesting though, Craig DeRoche out of Bishop's College. He comes in with a season best of 10.95 seconds.
10.95. A bit off the record. We see exactly what that translates to now that he is here.
So let's look out for DeRoche from Carriacou in lane 4. He's the only one that we have the season best time for. So that's the one that we can comment on, and maybe that's why he has the lane 4 as well. I'm sure all of the schools were asked to submit the best times of the athletes. Bishop's College have done so for all of the athletes. DeRoche comes in with a great time. Charles is there, 2 Charles, Erland Charles and Zuriel Charles, and Mark Secondary, Wesley College respectively. Hillsborough Secondary is there, GBSS in Shamari Noel. They're off, and already DeRoche has moved away from the pack here. DeRoche in lane 4 looking good, but on the inside it looks as Ellen Charles. But DeRoche is going to win it in the middle of the field here. DeRoche not just coming in with a good time, Joe, but running good as well.
Maintaining, and he literally took charge of the race from the start. And you see the confidence, and certainly he powered his way through. The athlete on the outside from St. Rose, Marvin Secondary, Erland Charles, he tried, of course, to make a push for it, but it eventually turned out to be DeRoche winning that one quite comfortably for Bishop's College. Erland Charles for St. Mark's Secondary taking second, and Shumari Noel for the GBSS completed the 3rd place.
So if you're viewing from Carriacou, you must be proud of a son of your soil, so to speak. DeRoche, a very, very common name out of the Carriacou Pedimatic area, Joe. And that's Craig DeRoche here, who has an impressive run to win heat number 1 in the junior boys 100 meters. And no doubt he would be a major factor going into the finals.
Well, we'll see how this one translates itself as we get into Heat 2 of 5. The lane assignments for the next event. From McDonald College, Jadel Thomas runs out of 1. Happy Hill Secondary, Chris Miller runs out of 3. Bishop's College, Jarrett Bryden runs out of 4. For St. John's Christian Secondary, Andy Collins runs out of 5. For the presentation, that is quite a mouthful. It's quite packed, really, really packed in there. The Convent girls, they are here. They are here. They are here. And certainly they are going to represent. So for St. John's Christian Secondary, Andy Collins. Presentation Brothers, Shamar Mills is in the mix. For Grenville Secondary, Keron Bristol. And for Happy Hill Secondary, there's Lion Niles. And of course, he is sitting in lane number 8. We can see that lane 1. That's Jadel. Yeah, that's lane 1. It should in fact be empty. They're running from lane 2. Mandela College, Hillsborough, Happy Hill Secondary, Bishop's College, St. John's Christian Secondary, PBC, GSS, Happy Hill Secondary.
Well, the folks from Happy Hill Secondary, just in case you're wondering, Happy Hill Secondary has rebranded and they're now using the purple color. They actually have 2 athletes in this race. Very unusual. We see 2 athletes from the same school in the same preliminary, but Happy Hill Secondary in the purple, and they're sponsored by GTC. They're here. So short leg and the other past pupils out of Happy Hill Secondary, you'll be pleased to see, at least they're in the preliminaries, and we're hoping that for your sake they can emerge into the finals.
I wonder what's my good friend Sherry, what is Sherry doing?
Sherry going to Happy Hill Secondary as well. And I'm sure she might be wearing something red today, but they're actually in purple.
Event 89, the boys 100 meters dash in the junior division, heat 2 of 5.
Well, Jarrett Bryden of Bishop's College, he came in with a time of 11.3 seconds. Let's see how he can do, if he can repeat as the Roach did a while ago. But looking good on the inside, looks like McDonald College and General Thomas. On the outside is Shamrock Mills. Mills been chased down here by Grenville Secondary, Kieran Bristow, but Shamrock Mills it is who wins this one.
He actually delivered, and he has actually established his name, of course. In the last couple of years, he has established himself as quite a dominant athlete, and he has certainly lived up to his expectation. Shamrock Mills of the Presentation Brothers College, an easy win there for him, and ensuring a place in the finals later on this evening. So that was the completion of heat 3 of 5. These are all prelims. We get in quite a double view. We see, look at it, there's still droves of people, and we can quite so anticipate that by the end of the day, certainly more and more of the students are going to make their way down here at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. There you see Mills pouring away, just looking over his shoulder. At the late end, you had, of course, Kieran Bristol from Grenville Secondary. He was on the inside trying to challenge him. I think by that time, young Mills had done so. Mills, he started the clock at 11.43. GSS 11.56. Bishop's College 11.81. McDonald College 11.99. St. John's Christian Secondary 12.04. Chris Miller from Happy Hill, of course, the duo from Happy Hill, 12.24 and 12.41.
The junior boys category is a category that schools like SAS have dominated throughout these games. As a matter of fact, SAS has scored most of their points in the junior category. They won the 4x100 meters for junior boys on day 1, and so they have the impressive athletes of Jamie Buddy and Cameron Joseph. As a matter of fact, one of them would feature in the upcoming heat with Joe, would take us through the lineup.
No doubt. Rizal Roberts occupies lane 1 for Hillsborough Secondary. Josiah Cooper for GBSS is in lane 2. Daniel Berkeley, Westmoreland Secondary, is in 3. Junior Jones for Beacon High runs out of 4. For Boca Secondary, it is Omar Charles. SAS, the man himself, Jamie Buddy. Keep your eyes on him. He's expected, of course, he's going to feature prominently in this one for SAS. And there's Rical Fleming from St. Rose Modern Secondary, runs out of lane number 7.
Well, it appears as though SAS has made a change, because that's definitely not Jamie Buddy, who was the lineup there. Jamie Buddy, we saw him yesterday slowing down on the completion of the 200 meters. I'm not sure if he has picked up some niggling injury, but that's definitely not Jamie Buddy there, Joe.
Well, we can trust the resourcefulness of our more learned friend, Sir Godfrey, who probably would enlighten us a little bit of an investigation into. Normally they keep him on top of these things, huh? It's probably just a strategic move, maybe. But we're getting ready for heat 3 of 5. It's event number 89. It's early days yet here at the National Stadium. Day 3, session number 1. It's setting itself up to be quite a mouth-watering and a scintillating finale. It is going to be. 23 schools, 2 champions to be crowned, 1 big dream, all part of the 53rd edition of the Scotiabank Intercol Games. So for the next event coming up, it is going to say heat 3 of 5. Hillsborough is in there, is in 1. GBSS is in 2. Westmoreland is in 3. Beacon High runs out of 4. Boca runs out of 5. SAS runs out of 6. And St. Rose Modern Secondary would run out of lane number 7.
Joe, earlier on this morning we commented on some student spectators who were attempting maybe to get into the secondary pavilion. So they have been standing outside there for quite some time now. I'm not too sure what the issue is, why they've not been ushered inside, but quite a number of them. Maybe that's where they are purchasing the tickets. I think that's where they are purchasing the tickets.
Well, that's quite a crowd that has congregated there, no doubt. So sooner rather than later, they will see them flooding the flood. As we speak, we see a few lines of them just slowly trickling in and starting to populate the bleacher area. But we head down the track side.
Is heat 3 of 5. The top performer in each of the heats would advance to the finals, and then the next 3 best times. On the marks, and it looks like a good start here. Here's Borough Secondary in lane 1, looking, but here comes Cooper for GBSS. Sass is pulling up, but Josiah Cooper for GBSS wins this one. And again, we see the injuries continue to plague some of these teams, but a good run here by Josiah Cooper for Najiko GBSS. Hillsborough Secondary was also in there in the mix. So too was the athlete from the St. Rose Modern Secondary, but Josiah Cooper, Najiko GBSS.
Well, there's going to be a party somewhere, some part of Grenada this evening. But certainly for those at the stands, it has started already. You see some of the ambulance on. I think some people, with the threat of rain yesterday, the fans, they've decided, listen, we come in prepared for this one.
Well, the ambulance is not only about the rain,
the sun as well.
But the sun coming over the eastern side would be in direct line with them.
And can be quite unforgiving. No doubt about that.
And they're prepared for that today. As we look back to the replay, Joe, we saw here Hillsborough Secondary was making early road, Soto was St. Rose, but then Josiah Cooper in lane 2 pulled away. We see Sass pulling up just about there, but Josiah Cooper, and then it was Buckley out of Westmoreland. That's Daniel Buckley who came in second eventually.
So that was the completion of heat 3 of 5. We're getting ready for heat 4 of 5. It is early days here. The ambulance are here. The fans are here. And the momentum and the anticipation continues to build for a mouth-watering completion of day number 3. The principles for this one, they seem quite sparsely, not much of just 4 athletes we've seen have occupied the field thus far. So let's see if we can make it. The athlete out of lane number 3. So let me see, should we see in lane number 3, St. Rose Modern Secondary. Then for Wester Hall, there's Derry McDonald. Well, that's not the uniform for St. Rose, so let's go back to the, okay, so now they've assumed. Sass Cameron runs out of 1. But J.W. Fletcher, the person of Kadeem Antoine, is going to run out of lane number 3. Then St. Rose, but it says St. Rose, but the uniform.
Yeah, it is St. Rose, Neil Peters, yeah.
So that's Neil Peters that's there. So St. Rose for Neil Peters. Then Derry McDonald runs out of 4 for Wester Hall Secondary. Colony Thornhill runs out of 5 for Boca Secondary. Christian Gabriel for St. David's Catholic Secondary. Jamal Jones occupies lane 7 for Grenville Secondary. And of course, Shondi Rennie running on the outside in lane number 8 for the inside, that is, for Grenville, for Grenada Christian Academy.
Well, Neil Peters is going to be difficult to beat in this one. He'll be heavily challenged by Cameron Joseph, but Neil Peters was already the winner in the 200 meters for St. Rose Modern Secondary. Cameron Joseph, I think, was the winner of the 400 meters for Sass. So these are 2 athletes that would have a sort of a final kind of appearance here, because they would want to emerge winner of this particular preliminary group here.
But of course, we know, Leslie, it doesn't matter what you've accomplished in your previous events, it comes from nothing. Everything that matters is what happens now. Maybe for a psychological edge, maybe, yeah, but it all comes from the blocks and you power your way down to the finishing line.
So keep your eyes on lane 1 and lane 3 in particular. These are the 2 fastest athletes I make it in this event. But don't rule out Christian Gabriel from the St. David's Catholic Secondary School. He's going to be a top contender as well.
I would have been disappointed if I didn't hear the pistol again, because I saw it.
Which lane did you see?
I saw the motions. It was somewhere in the middle of the pack. Not sure exactly whom it was, but you know, I don't know what is it. There's so much happening with these athletes.
It was a tough one to call, Joe.
It was a tough one.
But the starters, they're very experienced. Ralph Lord and the entire group of starters there. I'm sure it's about 4 of them, I think, that cause every race, you know, Joe.
And I think certainly, Leslie, after some of the misgivings of yesterday, it would be incumbent upon them to ensure from the start of things that they stay on top of it. And certainly so far they have been doing that. Ralph is saying, school them I must, school them I will. If that's what it takes, that's what I am going to do. So there's SAS, St. Rose, Wester Hall, Boca, St. David's Catholic, Grenville Secondary, Grenada Christian Academy. The principals for the upcoming event, heat 4 of 5, event number 80. The winner goes through automatically, Leslie, and the next 3 best times would get the quad to make it into the finals.
So let's see if anybody will be credited here with the false start. Maybe credited is not a nice phrase or a nice word to use for these youngsters in this situation, because that's a credit you really don't want. But we look forward to seeing who has been given the false start. It's going to be very unfortunate for whoever it is, and a big disappointment as well for them and the team. It's an anxious moment for them. It's not the time that is it?
Let's see.
Peters and Rose Modern Secondary
having a conversation.
That would be a shame.
The hands are in the pocket. Is it a red card?
It is. It's supposed to be, because it's a new false start rule that is being employed here. He moves over to lane 3. That's Westall Iguanas.
Right.
I'm not sure what Ralph Lord is saying out there. You can see the wind picking up and moving away the lane markers. The feather banners are fluttering. It's been given to Westall Secondary. He seems pretty surprised at that too, Joe.
Well, I did say I saw the motion in the middle of the pack. Let's see what's happening there, Wester. But he's standing there. The card came out.
That's Terry McDonald of Westall Secondary.
When it was the red card, he's still standing there, still a bit pensive, wondering. And I think for all of these athletes, Leslie, you feel a bit of apprehension. For the athlete who the card is rendered to, it is totally devastating and disappointing. And for the rest of the field, it sort of always puts them on edge. He always seems to put them on edge for what may transpire thereafter.
So Ralph Lord is still having conversation here now with Neil Peters. But all seems to be well now. And
so help me understand though, Leslie, what was the purpose of the card? Okay, just about the time we were saying to ourselves that the officials have it anyway. We'll probably leave that alone for now. We'll probably let Godfrey comment on it.
It would have had to be a warning, Joe, because otherwise one of the athletes would have definitely been out of this race.
So just a warning, yep. So the warning would have been for lane 2 and lane 3. We're getting ready to change shifts. We'll do that at the end of this race, event number 89. Of course, Leslie and I will be replaced by Godfrey and Irvin Simon. Event 89, the boys 100.
They're off to a good start now. Cameron Joseph got the better of the start amongst them in lane 1. It's Cameron Joseph, but Neil Peters is running back here for him in lane 3. Neil Peters has the advantage and wins this one. It looks as Cameron Joseph in second, and from the St. David's Catholic Secondary, Christian Gabriel seems to have pulled the third position.
And it comes back, Leslie, to what we're saying. The card. And it is always at the back of the athlete's mind, I want to get this right. So somehow they always seem a little bit more tentative, a little bit more hesitant. He had a slow release from the blocks. Cameron from SAS, he was out blazing out in lane number 1. But of course, for Peters, so we're looking at the replay. So there's Cameron outside on the inside there. He's running in lane number 1. He was off and blazing in lane number 1. Look at Peters, of course, getting his composure right, and he literally having to dig deep into his reservoir, dig deep, and of course just about 50 meters or so, he's like, okay folks, I think I've done enough, and quite a comfortable win. So it's a win, quite a good run indeed.
A good run by Cameron Joseph, also Neil Peters. Neil Peters has been the winner of the final heat in the boys 100 meters, Joe. We've seen some exciting races thus far.
No doubt.
We anticipate that the competition will intensify amongst all of the schools who are participating, and we ask you to stay tuned for this great track and field action at the Grenada National Stadium.
We now turn you over to Godfrey, Augustine, and Irvin Salmon to keep you company for the next hour.
Looking for quality and affordable homes? Then call the Housing Authority of Grenada. The committed and hardworking staff of designers and draftsmen will work with you to customize and deliver your dream home. We supervise the construction of your home from start to finish, ensuring the job is done according to your specifications, stress-free. Our services also include repairs or extension on your existing home, the drawing of free house plans once you build with the authority, or the flexibility to work to your specification if you have one. So don't delay. Call us today at 440-1015 or 440-1016. The Housing Authority of Grenada, improving the quality of life for citizens through the design, construction, and supervision of comfortable and affordable housing.
The last of event number 89, the boys 100 meters dash in the junior category. The principals of this one: Wesley College 1, JW Fletcher 2, Christian Academy runs out of 3, Wester Hall runs out of 4, St. Mark's is in 6, St. David's Catholic runs out of 7, and the Presentation Brothers College, they occupy lane number 8. The sun is out, Leslie. A bit of a thick cloud cover as well, and so there continues to be that strong wind. It's reduced a bit now, but it seems to come intermittently, that gale winds that just runs across the surface of the National Stadium. Of course, sometimes it could be a challenge, because of course, Leslie, you would know that athletes running here to the National Stadium, there's always that headwind that they have to contend with. Certainly today, compared to the other 2 days, the wind certainly is becoming more of a factor than it would have been in the previous days.
So Neil Peters ran 11.03 seconds for the junior boys. A pretty slow time, I would think, Joe, but it's just the preliminaries. We expect maybe he would run faster in the finals. But we also expect those junior boys to be going under 11 seconds.
Well, that is the expectation, and certainly we'll see how that lives up. I must say though, compared Leslie to what we got, we must say kudos to our camera, our team. Compared to Godfrey to some of the camera angles we got on day one. They must have listened to us. Yeah, big mounts pays off, huh? They pay it off. We got a lot of varied angles of the shots.
We must also say, Joe, that the wind here is very strong.
It is.
And the athletes are actually running into a headwind. And that obviously has an effect on the kind of times that they are returning.
No doubt on that.
As you can see here, the shirts are fluttering there. It indicates that there's a strong wind, and it's directly in their faces. They're running against that headwind. It has a bearing on the times that they are returning.
Heat 5 of 5 is the last heat of event number 89. The principals of this one: Wesley College is in 2, JW Fletcher 3, GC Grenada Christian Academy is in 4, Wester Hall is in 5, St. Mark's runs out of lane 6, St. David's Catholic runs out of 7, and Presentation Brothers College, they occupy lane number 8. On the field, I think in terms of what's happening, there's multiple activities. There should be the girls long jump. Yeah, girls long jump, that's a sub-junior, that should be in progress. We expecting as well the boys javelin to also be in progress later on. Well, yes, we're probably getting ready for that. The girls high jump as well, and the boys triple jump in the juniors. So too there's been the discus throw for the senior boys, and all of that, of course, will be part of the complement of activities of events that's taking place here for session 1 on day number 3. But right now we fasten our eyes back onto the track. Event number 89, the boys 100 meter dash. Wesley College again is in 2, JW Fletcher is in 3, Christian Academy runs out of 4, Wester Hall is in 5, St. Mark's Secondary runs out of 6, St. David's Catholic runs out of 7, and Presentation Brothers College is running out of lane number 8. The wind continues, Leslie, to be a factor. We still see that gathering of students on the outside. So we are understanding from, of course, that that's where they put. So it's quite a crowd that is building about out there. It's either the crowd is very big or the process is very slow. We'll assume from where we are that the crowd is actually very big, as we expect.
You know, I always hate to see the athletes being kept for so long on the starting line. I'm not too sure what the issue is. But we just said over the stadium microphone that a new record was established in one of the field events. We're going to bring that for you shortly. And then we're also going to give you an updated point standing as we get the results coming through to us.
That we would certainly do. It's Wesley College, J.W. Fletcher, Grenada Christian Academy, Wester Hall, St. Mark's Secondary, St. David's Catholic Secondary, the Presentation Brothers College. Giving you the names in the same order: Kelson Harris for Wesley College, Dexter McEwen for J.W. Fletcher, Lenoy McDonald for Christian Academy, Jonathan McQueen for Wester Hall, Nigel Ned for St. Mark's, Kendall Boson for St. David's Catholic, and Jamal Cumberbatch for the Presentation Brothers College.
So we don't show what's happening, Joe, before we see the start of this event.
But that shouldn't be, Leslie. It shouldn't.
There's nothing happening on the track from our vantage point that is preventing this race from starting. But obviously there's an issue with the officials there. And they seem to be called to the starting point now, is it? Yes, they are. So we're getting ready for it. Getting ready for the start.
Getting ready for the start. Wesley College in 2, J.W. Fletcher 3, Christian Academy is in 4, Wester Hall runs out of 5, St. Mark's is in 6, and David's Catholic is in 7. The Presentation Brothers College, they're running out of lane number 8.
So maybe while we wait, we can just entertain the results of the high jump for senior girls. In first position was Shamaya Kodjo from Hillsborough Secondary. Second was Makeda Forrester from SJC St. Andrew. In third was Rokisha Checkley, also of SJC St. Andrew. And as a matter of fact, there was a tie for second position between 3 athletes. Makeda Forrester, SJC St. Andrew, Rokisha Checkley, also of SJC St. Andrew, and Ethelyn Noel of Hillsborough Secondary. So only 2 schools featured here. Hillsborough Secondary in 1st and 4th, and Convent Grenville in 2nd and 3rd.
And good news, of course, for Convent.
That would have serious implications for the point standing. So we were saying that Anglican High School has the strength in the field events, but we see Convent Grenville picking up valuable points. 2nd and 3rd here, that would be like 12 points.
And they picked it up quite early, so have to get an early momentum on their whatever thrust there is going to be for championship honors. Again, Leslie, not really quite sure why, but it seems almost incomprehensible as to why the athletes have been made to stand there for that given period of time. And you can see the frustration, the agitation. You know, you seem almost lost as to what's happening. And the thing is, you're not seeing any form of active conversation between themselves and the officials. Neither are you seeing any active conversation among the officials. So we just at a loss just the same as to exactly what is transpiring down there, what isn't, just the same. But we've got the call on the marks, and this one is going to be off in sooner rather than later. Wesley College, J.W. Fletcher, Christian Academy, Wester Hall Secondary, St. Mark's, St. David's Catholic, and the Presentation Brothers College.
Let's see who is hungrier for this one to get into the finals. He's hit 5 of 5. 100-meter dash junior boys. Finally, they're up and running. Who makes the early start? It looks like Presentation Brothers College in Cumberbatch on the outside, but here comes on the inside Wesley College, Kensal Harris. Harris on the inside. It's a close one to call. It's either between Harris on the inside and Cumberbatch from PBC on the outside. St. David's Catholic Secondary and Kendall Boson also in contention. It could very well be between Boson from St. David's Catholic Secondary and Kelsey Harris of the Wesley College. Wesley College, Joe?
Wesley College, not a name that features prominently or regularly in the mouths of the commentary team, but certainly I know my good friend. Good morning, Slokey. Yeah, the Logan Wesley College boy among the mates of GBSS and Saskatchewan at the GVN. Before we leave though, Leslie, we're going to leave with, of course, Convent. They've extended on their lead. So of course they now Convent Grenville. We can tell you Convent Grenville as we hand over to Godfrey and Leslie and Irvin. Convent Leslie, they're in 273.67 points. Interesting. The Anglican High, they're in 234. How do you determine they got the 0.67?
Yeah, you remember there was a 3-way tie for second position in the high jump.
I tell you, that's why I keep you guys around. I often wonder why I keep you guys around. It comes clearly to me more and more. Well, that's what we leave it for now, folks. And with Joe, JC, Leslie, we're going to hand things over to Godfrey and Irvin.
Since 1994, the Grenlec Community Partnership Initiative, GCPI, has been working with Grenadian organizations to impact communities directly. Giving back to communities we serve is fundamental to the way we do business. Every year, Grenlec shareholders give 5% of the company's pre-tax profit to community projects in education, sports, health, infrastructure, social services, and beyond. The GCPI provides support to people who are on the ground. Parliament has passed a law that effectively kills the GCPI. With this new legislation, Grenlec is now required to pay the same 5% it gives directly to communities into a government-controlled fund, overseen by a minister and run by his appointed committee. We hope that our government can address the serious questions about the social fund and reconsider the legislation. Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandin St. George, stocks quality building materials at affordable prices. Lumber, steel, heavy hardware, pipes, and ceramic tiles for timely completion of your construction or renovation. Visit Hubbard's Building Supplies for a range of quality building materials at affordable prices.
Godfrey, good morning to the listeners, the viewers of GBN television, and also all the folks joining in online on GBN's Facebook, wherever you are. Godfrey, I hope you took your vitamins this morning.
Oh yes, and I took my pressure tablets as well. Well, but clearly, but you know, things have heated up. And just before just for the changeover, you know, Joseph and Leslie did indicate the most recent point standing, and we see now that St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrew has moved ahead by, you know, over 30 points, about 39 points thereabout, ahead of Anglican High School. I've been noticing and paying attention, and today seemed to be the strongest day for St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrew. If that holds up, it can clearly mean that history can be made here today with St. Joseph's Convent Grenville winning their first Intercol championship. But it's not over, as the folks say, until the fat lady sings.
And they are down in their numbers. The Convent, the SAS, Grenville Secondary, the whole St. Andrews schools. Of course, GSS, not much of a presence, but they'll be throwing their support behind SAS and Convent. Also this morning, Godfrey, we've seen 2 athletes pulling up.
Yes, one from SAS, one from
that will have anything to do with, you know, being the 3rd day and the stress and so for the past 2 days?
I mean, there could be a number of reasons for that. Yes, it can be. It can also be that the athletes probably did not do their proper warming up. So a number of reasons can cause that. You're not sure. So, you don't want to make any remarks about that. But it is always unfortunate when athletes pull up, because depending on the injury, it could have some lasting effects, and some of these injuries, they do take a while before they heal up. So it's usually very unfortunate, So athletes will want to make sure that they do the necessarily warm-up drills that they're supposed to do, ensure that the blood is running, ensure that the muscles are relaxed, not too tight, in fact not tight at all, so that they can prevent muscle injuries and cramps of the sort, But like I said, a lot of reasons. It's 3 days, 2 days have already gone. Many of the athletes have been competing in some cases 3-4 events, That in itself is a lot of strain. Then the actual traveling from St. George's to the other parishes, it does create some stress on the body, because having to travel up and down, they leave here late, they live up there early to come back down the following day. In fact, someone suggested to me early this morning that the association may want to look at the possibility of setting up camps for the athletes in the outer parishes, so you can take away that stress of having to be traveling back and forth over the couple of days. It is done for the athletes who visit for character games and so and I don't see any reason why it cannot be looked at.
Some of the athletes from the outer parishes have to assemble at the school as early as 7 o'clock.
Yes indeed. So it is something that they can probably look at. I don't know how feasible it is, but clearly they can give some consideration to it and see what can work out. I was looking at the remarks from the president again, and the theme they said was to help care for the athletes, and that was one of the reasons for the 3 days. So I think they can continue the process and have a look at all the possible ways they can help the athletes in ensuring that we get the best performances, and also eliminating all forms of injury as much as possible.
Okay, Godfrey, well, we're getting ready now for a series of heats in the sub-junior girls 200 meters. Heat 1 of 6, we'll see Rena Jeremiah of the St. David's Catholic Secondary in lane number 1. In lane number 2 from Wesley College, Brianna Celestine in lane 2. Lane 3 will from the St. John's Christian Secondary School, Shadeen Watton. Bishop's College, the Sister of Carriacou in Akina Thomas will be in lane 4. SAS, Afia George of SAS will be in lane number 5. Emily Benjamin of the Hillsborough Secondary in lane 6. And Janelle DeCoto of, Westmoreland?
Yes, Westmoreland
in lane number 7. So 2 athletes from the Sister of Carriacou, Thomas from Bishop's College and Benjamin from Hillsborough Secondary.
Well, we have to look for Keena Thomas. She's been doing very, very well, Irvin. She's running out of lane number 4. She's from Bishop's College on the island of Carriacou. So we'll be looking at the middle of the field there. Also, Afia George of SAS is also in there.
Okay, and I see Thomas coming in with a personal best of 24.60.
Yes, not a bad time at all coming into this event. And I'm sure usually the athletes they sort of conserve a little bit once they're in control and wait for the final. So we are with the start of the first of 6 preliminaries, the 200-meter girls sub-junior event number 92. So we await the starters of this one, and of course we again want to welcome all the viewers of GBN Television, and we also want to say thanks to our partners for making this broadcast possible. A moment to cherish, yes indeed. Real People Products, Hubbard's, Grenleck, 7 Seas, CGM Gallagher, and the Housing Authority of Grenada. They are on their marks. We await the start of this event.
And the interesting, Godfrey, the record in that event is 25.20.
So she's already taken that. All right, and there she goes already. Kina Thomas of Bishop's College on the bend into the final 100 meters. She's way ahead of the rest. She's followed closely in lane 5 by Afia George of SAS. But it's Kina Thomas all the way. Lane 3, it's St. John's Christian Secondary, but that young lady, Kina Thomas from Bishop's College, winning that race very, very easy. I think Emily Benjamin of Hillsborough Secondary may have slipped in and gotten the 2nd place. So an interesting one there. Kina moving away from the bunch. And of course,
very early, she had a good start and she just excelled. Well, we'll wait to see the time here because her personal best is 24.6, and the record in that event is 25.20. Looking at the replay there from the very start, she went actually ahead. A very good race, a strong runner.
24.85. So clearly
already
the record has gone. And look at it, her closest rival, that's Emily Benjamin of Hillsborough Secondary, coming in at 27.20. You know, so definitely Kina Thomas doing very well in that event. So that's the first of 6 preliminaries.
Okay, and already we see the record being broken. The Kina Thomas of Bishop's College from Carriacou breaking the record, 24.85, and that's still not her personal best. Her personal best is 24.60. So in the final, we might still see her going lower.
Yeah, breaking the record twice, you know. All right, so we're getting ready for the second preliminary, and out of lane 1, Melissa Rubin of Grenada Seventh-day Adventist. Lane 2, Simone Edwards, Grenada Christian Academy. Lane 3, Shanae De Leon of Beacon High. Lane 4, Brianna Roberts, Bishop's College. Lane 5, Dizelle Williams of McDonald College. Lane 6, Delisa Phillip, Anglican High School. And lane 7, Kiona Ferre of St. Joseph's Convent. St. Andrew, they are off, and let's see who is going to move ahead in this one very early. It looks like Anglican High School through Delisa Phillip as she comes from the bend, heading into the final 100 meters. It is Phillip from Anglican High School. Just inside of her, it looks like that's Beacon High, but it is definitely the Delisa Phillip of Anglican High School, and that's yes, Dizelle Williams, who is going to take 2nd place of McDonald College. A good run there by this young lady.
Yes, Godfrey, that's Phillip from the Anglican High School. She ran a good race. Was hardly challenged, so to speak, and finished fairly strong.
Yes, indeed. Of course, Dizelle Williams of McDonald College was able to slip in and get the 2nd position. We wait for the official results, and that should be coming up any moment now. So looking at the replay there you see Phillip as she comes to the 100-meter mark, and Williams of McDonald College challenge there for 3rd place by Brianna Roberts of Bishop's College, but it is what it is. So the results, yes, Delisa Phillip Anglican High School 26.20, the official winner of hit 2 of event number 92. We move now to hit 3, lane 1, Zane Joseph of Happy Hills Secondary, lane 2, Jennifer Mitchell, Wesley College, lane 3, Carrie Charles, Grenville Secondary, lane 4, Jamara Patterson, St. Joseph's Convent, St. George's, lane 5, Maura Roberts, Beacon High, lane 6, Rakisha George, the Christian Academy, and lane 7, Kaylin Hines of J.W. Fletcher. That's the lineup for preliminary number 3.
And Godfrey, yet another blessed day in terms of the weather.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We got a little shower this morning just to sort of cool things down a bit, but it's nice. Nice. Not a lot of clouds, but clearly a very good day indeed for track and field. So we await the start of this one. Actually, we're getting ready for the the third preliminary of event number 92, 200 meter dash
for sub-junior girls.
Yes, indeed. Brianna Roberts coming in with a 25 seconds flat there. Let's see if she can hold on or do better than that. And she's running out of
Roberts.
Yes, indeed. Actually,
it's 3.
Yes, it's 3. Yes, I apologize for that. I was giving you some information there.
We see Charles of GSS and Patterson of Convent St. George's in lanes 3 and 4, with Roberts from Beacon High in lane 5.
So Patterson, Roberts in the middle of the field. Let's see how this one is going to play out. They await the starter's instruction.
And we see in the high jump that look like junior boys, not sure, going on right in front of us. And yesterday we saw Sauce claiming first and second in the high jump for junior boys. So that might be some junior boys high jump that's going on there. Not sure if there are other field events, maybe long jump.
Well, the junior boys triple jump should be taking place as well, and the boys javelin should be also taking place. But
okay, they're done on the status orders for the 200 heat 3 in the 200 meters sub junior girls. And they're off. Let's see who's making all the inroads. It's the athlete from Patterson, from the St. Joseph's Convent, St. George's. Also the athlete from Grenville Secondary School, that's Charles. As they take the bend now for the final 100 meters. It's Convent St. George's and what's that, Wesley College, Mitchell of Wesley College, but it's Patterson of the St. Joseph's Convent St. George's winning, with Grenville Secondary coming in third, and second will be Joseph of Mitchell of Wesley College, if I'm correct.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So a good run.
Actually, in fourth place was the Christian Academy. That's Rakisha George.
A good run by Jamara Patterson of Convent St. George in the third heat.
And there's the replay, Irvin. And very early, Patterson took control of the race, and it was no stopping her. She was challenged initially there by Charles of Grenville Secondary, but on the inside came Jennifer Mitchell of Wesley College, who seemed to have been challenging Patterson a bit, but clearly she was no match for her. Patterson winning very comfortably, and in a time actually of 26.17 seconds. Charles of Grenville Secondary 28.55, and George of the Christian Academy in 29 seconds. So that was a completion there. We also had Amora Roberts of the Beacon High School finishing 5th, and Joseph and Hines from Happy Hill and J.W. Fletcher did not finish.
There we see a shot of the bleachers there with the mainly the students from the St. Joseph's Convent, St. Andrews, Grenville Secondary. We see him there, and that continuous noise, Godfrey. And now we see a shot of the athletes. That's the athlete stand. And they are in the shaded area, thank God.
Well, let me just share with our listeners and viewers some information here. We have the qualifiers for event 89. That was the 100-meter dash junior boys. The qualifiers were Craig DeRoche of Bishop's College, also Erland Charles of St. Mark's Secondary, Shamar Mills of PBC, Josiah Cooper, GBSS, Neil Peters, St. Rose Modern Secondary, Cameron Joseph SAS, Christian Gabriel, St. David's Catholic, Kelowna Thornhill, Boca, and Jamal Cumberbatch of PBC. So those were the ones qualifying for the final round of competition, the boys junior 100-meter dash. Okay,
and some other results here. The GBSS, now GBSS, picking up some valuable 15 points here. That's in the junior boys javelin, and actually it's a new record too. Jalen Carter establishing a new mark of 46.80 meters in winning the javelin. We had his boys secondary in DeAndre Bristol placing second, and Zane LaRose of PBC finishing third.
The start of hit 4, and let's see who moves out. In lane 7, it looks like Avian Lessie of JW Fletcher, but on the inside in lane number 3, it's Shaki Bowen. And as they come into the final 100 meters in lane 5, it looks like Nolan Williams of McDonald College is going to win it. Nolan Williams of McDonald College wins it. A close one there for second position. We'll have to await the official results to get that one. But we can tell you from where we are, Nolan Williams of McDonald College is the winner of hit number 4 in the 200-meter dash girls sub-junior.
So Godfrey, we see in GBSS continuing to perform exceptionally well in the field events. There we see the time, Nolan Williams of McDonald College 26.66, and Shaki Bowen of Boca plays second, 27.38.
And St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrew getting third. We look at the replay there, and you can see
that was
that's the previous one actually. That was not the last one.
That was Patterson
Patterson of Convent and from Wesley College to Mitchell, and that was in the previous race.
Going back to
yes indeed.
GBSS performing exceptionally in the field events. Normally SAS will be the one picking up all the points in the the coach. You must commend the coaching staff of GBSS for placing special emphasis on the field events.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's paying off because they're earning quite a lot of points here. They're getting in this event here first and 6th position.
That's 15 points
actually. Yes, indeed. So they're moving. SAS would really have to work hard, to get there. They would really have to work hard to get there. So we wait to see how this is going to pan out. So we're getting ready now for the
hit 5.
Yes, hit 5 of the 200 meters sub-junior girls, and we have running out of lane 1 from Anglican High School, Kishona Phillip. Lane 2, Monique George of St. Rose Modern Secondary. Lane 3, Angel Franklin of St. Mark's Secondary. Lane 4, Serena Richards, Boca. Lane 5, is that Danielle Claxon, that's Westmoreland Secondary. Lane 6, Jordan McIntosh of Hillsborough Secondary, and lane 7, Casey Dominic of St. David's Catholic Secondary. We are with the start of this one. They're under starters orders. And they're off, and let's see, it looks like in lane 3, is it St. Mark's Secondary who has moved ahead? But in the middle of the field, that's Boca, Serena Richards of Boca. On the outside though, it looks like Jordan McIntosh also in the mix in lane 1. There's also Kishonna Phillip. But on the outside, it is McIntosh. McIntosh is going to win it for the Hillsborough. Is that St. David's Catholic Secondary? Yes, that's Casey Dominic actually. Casey Dominic of St. David's Catholic Secondary on the outside winning that. And let's see what happened with Kishonna Phillip of the Anglican High School as we wait for the official result of this one. We have one final hit to go in this event.
Yes, a good run by Dominic out in lane number 7. If we look at the replay now, she was always in the lead, but
actually it was Serena Richards of Boca who had moved ahead, but she was not able to maintain that, and we see
Anglican High School.
Yes,
Phillip.
So there is Boca still in the mix there, but started to fade, and Dominic of St. David's Catholic
good run back
Secondary
by Dominic.
Yes, indeed. So a good one, Boca getting the 3rd place. Yes, Serena Richards of Boca. So 26.17 for Dominic of St. David's, 26.46 for Phillip of Anglican High, and 26.68 for Richards of Boca. McIntosh of Hillsborough Secondary came in at 4th at 28.07, and Angel Franklin St. Mark's Secondary 28.78. And Daniela Claxon Joseph of Westmoreland Secondary at 30.75.
How do you choose your toilet paper? Just because it's soft and nice. That's how I choose my toilet paper. Made right here in the Isle of Spice. Cherish Springs off Harbor Bay. Super value every day. The price is right and locally they're made. Support local when you purchase Cherish and other quality brands from Grenada Paper Products.
Number 2, Brittany Marcel of GSS in lane number 3. Sanicia Jones of McDonald College in lane 4. Nisha Modest of SAS in 5. Ayana Glood in lane 6 of the St. David's Catholic Secondary, and in lane number 7 is Shimia Superville of St. Mark's Secondary in lane number 7. That's the final preliminary heat in the 200 meters for sub-junior girls.
So we're with the start, and Irvin, the crowd is building. The students are coming in, and there's still quite a lot on the outside. So I anticipate by midday, 1 o'clock, we should have
be full house.
We will have a full house. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And you can hear the horns already. The horns are there.
We've seen a number of broad brim hats. Of course, they are directly facing the sun, so coming in handy, and all the air horns.
Well, Irvin, from what I'm seeing here, we may only have
two competitors. Lane number 2, that's Leah Lawrence of St. Joseph's Convent, St. George. And one of the
that looks like Shimia Superville
of St. Mark's Secondary.
Yes. So let's see what happens here in this one. I'm not sure why the others aren't starting, but they're off, and of course Superville is ahead by way of the lane. But here comes Lawrence around the bend. Lawrence is moving really fast as she gets now into the final. Oh my Lord, she has run out of lane. let's see what happened. She started. Well, no, she isn't. She's in there. She
slightly went over to lane 3,
but she's in lane 2. She's in the correct lane, of course, winning quite handsomely there, and of course, Superville getting the second position. Only 2 competitors in this one. Not sure why the others did not start.
Not much. It started with a field of 7, and only 2 athletes competed in that race. That's Lawrence of Convent, who won, and Superville from St. Mark's Secondary.
Yes, indeed. So that brings the completion of the preliminary round for the girls 200-meter dash sub-junior division. The next track event would be the boys 200-meter dash in the sub-junior division.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our morning flight. We'll be flying at 35,000 feet, so sit back and enjoy the flight.
A strong young man begins as a fit little boy. Just 1 teaspoon of 7C's cod liver oil daily provides essential omega-3 and helps to meet important vitamin needs, giving him long life, health, and helping him live his dreams. 7C's keeps kids healthy and mothers happy.
Lane 8, Madan. Well, we have this person,
Madan Williams.
Yes. Well, actually, I'm not sure. In lane 5, it's Madan Williams. Lane 8 is Madan Williams. So I'm really not sure.
With two different numbers.
2 different numbers. So yes, let's see what happens here. That S can make all the difference.
All right, and we see in Jordan McNeil with a personal best of 23.60.
Yes, and that's
from Bishop's College.
Yes, Jordan McLeod coming in there with a personal best. So we'll see what happens, whether or not lane 8 and 5 are the same persons, or is the same person rather. So we are waiting the starter. Well, they seem to be there. I'm seeing quite a few empty let's see what happens here. I'm not seeing anyone in 6. I'm not seeing anyone in 5.
5 and 6.
So 5 is supposed to be Madan Williams of Gwinnett Christian Academy.
And 6 would have been Jalen Daniel of St. David's Catholic Secondary.
4, it is Jordan McLeod of Bishop's College. They're on their marks. Lane 1, it is Joni Williams of SAS. Lane 2, St. Mark's Secondary. And out in lane 7, Elrin Alexander of McDonald College. See it? And they're off, and it looks already like McLeod of Bishop's College. He's challenged there by, in lane number 3 is that Branell Telesford of Happy Hill Secondary, but McDonald College, and that's Elrin Alexander. Not sure what's happening there. We had a little bit of confusion there, Irvin. But let's wait for the official result. What we do know, Jordan McLeod of Bishop's College, he got the victory. There was also Shamari Belfon of St. Mark's in lane 2, and Elrin Alexander of McDonald College was also there. So we await the official results for that one.
Yes, Godfrey, the McLeod from Bishop's College, he ran a good race.
There's a replay.
Strong.
So let's see. Let's have a look here and see what happens. So already, yes, McLeod went out.
McLeod
on the outside,
lane number 3, Telesford from the Happy Hill Secondary.
But in lane 2, it was Shamari Belfon of St. Mark's Secondary. And on the outside, it
was Williams.
Actually, Elrin Alexander on the outside here, that's in lane number 7, who was able to pick up the 3rd place.
That's McDonald College.
Yes, Elrin Alexander of McDonald College got the third. So there you have it, Bishop's College, St. Mark's Secondary, and McDonald College 1, 2, 3.
And we in the second heat, we're gonna see in a while another athlete from Bishop College, Elvin Joseph, will be featured in that race. He's running out of lane number 4 with a personal best of 24 flat. So once again, we're seeing the athletes from Sister Bishop's College and Hillsborough Secondary with good showing this year at Intercol.
Yes, indeed. So we're with the start again. Not a full slate. We're seeing 5 and 6 MT. Out in 8, it's Akeem Williams of McDonald College. 4, it is Elvin Joseph of Bishop's College. 3, it is Mac Perrott of Boca. 2, it is Dean Dominic, St. Rose Modern Secondary. And 1, Shavin Hector of St. David's Catholic Secondary. So they're under starters orders, and we await the start of this one. We're looking to the middle. Elvin Joseph with a personal best of 24. Let's see what happens here. It looks like already, yes indeed, it is Joseph of Bishop's College who has moved ahead. In lane 1, it is Hector of St. David's Catholic Secondary. So it is Joseph and Hector. Hector is slightly ahead, but Joseph wins it. Hector comes second, and it looks like Akeem Williams of McDonald College getting the third place in this one. We wait to see whether Joseph of Bishop's College has done a better time. He came in at a 24 seconds flat, but let's see if he was able to do better than that. So the completion of heat 2 of event number 93, 200-meter dash, some junior boys.
So back-to-back victories for
Bishop's College.
Bishop's
and we now have the, well, Irvin, if what I'm seeing I'm correct here, clearly they're saying it is Zane McFarlane of Bishop's College. Our lineup is telling us it's Elvin Joseph, so we may have to go with what's on the screen. So it's Bishop's College, Zane McFarlane in 23.38, Shavin Hector of St. David's Catholic 23.47, and Akeem Williams, McDonald College 24.74. So Elvin Joseph was not in that race as given us on our startup list. It was indeed Zane McFarlane and not Elvin Joseph. So we do apologize for that. Not our fault.
Okay, and the lineup for Heat 3 in the boys 200 meters sub-junior boys. In lane number 1 will be Chad Holder of the Grenada Christian Academy. Heat 3. Well, actually,
we have different things.
Well, we have different.
Well, there's a whole lot of confusion here.
In 2, Jeremy Alexander of Boca. Kyle Lewis of GSS is in 3.
Well, in fact, based on my startup list, it's showing me a Kimron Bowen of Boca running out of lane 2. I think we have that there correct.
Yes, there's
lane
Kyle
3,
Lewis of GSS.
Kyle Lewis of GSS.
Kenderson
Maloney of Wesley
College. Wazim Joseph of
Hillsborough Secondary. Akil Francis,
GBSS.
Michael Berkeley, Westmoreland Secondary. And in lane 8, Tajay Grant of PBC. So that should be a good one. We're looking to the middle. Akil Francis of GBSS, Tajay Grant, lane 8, Kyle Lewis, Grenville Secondary. And the Boca out of lane 2, Kimron Bowen. So we are with the start of this one.
They're down on the starters orders now. Heat number 3 or 5 in the sub-junior boys 200 meters, and they're off. Let's look at GBSS early. That's Francis in lane number 6. It's GBSS and Grant out front. It's and the GBSS athletes pulled up. Is all Grant of PBC. Oh, yet again, Godfrey, we see another. That's the third athlete today pulling up on the home stretch. But Taji Grant of PBC winning quite convincing.
I think Wazim Joseph of is it Wazim Joseph? I think
of Hillsborough Secondary.
Let's see what happens here. So here we have the time. It is Taji Grant of PBC 24.01. Jeremy Alexander of Boca actually 24.91. Michael Berkeley of Westmoreland Secondary 24.96. Kyle Lewis GSS 25.63. Maloney Kenderson Wesley College
and 25. Here we're looking at the replay. The athlete from GBSS was on course. Yes, was on course. That's Francis. But there we see he pulled up holding his left hamstring.
Yes, indeed. And Grant wasted no time in taking advantage. In lane 8, moved ahead.
And he still tried.
Yes, yes, indeed. No, that's a dangerous thing. He should not be forcing it at that point for fear of further injuring himself. You know, it's a dangerous thing. You feel that cramp there. It might be a good thing for you to pull up and probably walk through the finish line. Of course, completing the race, but it might not be a good idea to push it and cause further injury to yourself.
Disappointment there for GBSS, but there's another GBSS athlete that will be featured in the final in heat 4. That's Jamal Noel, and he will be in lane number 1. So let's hope GBSS will be able to redeem themselves there after what happened in the previous race.
So they're with the starter right now, and we are waiting for that one. Hit 4 or 5. Jamal Noel, GBSS lane 1. Jamal Dowden, lane 2. Westmoreland Secondary. Akil Lalit, grade 7 Adventist 3. Javin Alexander, lane 4. That's St. Mark Secondary. Yuri Rubin, Westerhall Iguanas, lane 6. Raheem Fraser, Beacon High. Keandre John, 7 Grenville Secondary. And Ronaldo Williams, J.W. Fletcher. So we await the start of this one.
We just saw a jump from the athlete from SAS in the high jump.
And they're off, and let's see, it looks like the Westerhall Iguanas, Yui Rubin was moved ahead. Yes, Rubin of Westerhall has moved ahead on the inside. GBSS Jamal Noel, but it is still Yuri Rubin of Westerhall Iguanas, just by about 4 or so meters. We see Westmoreland Secondary, Jamal Dowden making a run on the inside, but in lane 7, Keandre John of Grenville Secondary may have clipped him for the second position, but it is Yuri Rubin of the Westerhall Iguanas who got the victory in this one.
But yet again, we saw the athlete from GBSS in lane 1, Noel, pulling up.
So that's about the 4th one. I am wondering, I'm starting to think now, Irving, whether or not these athletes did they, adequately warmed up, So there's the replay. We see Rubin of Westerhall already in command, and he's followed closely by the Grenville Secondary. And here now comes the Westmoreland Secondary, but it's the Westerhall Iguanas, Yuri Rubin, who has gotten the victory, and of course that young man from Grenville Secondary getting the second place.
Okay, so it's actually the sub-junior boys high jump that's going on downstairs. Not sure the height, 150. That's the current height. But there's a final heat in the 200 meters for sub-junior boys coming up.
Lane 1, Yvonne Baptiste from St. John's Christian Secondary. Lane 2, Keon Joseph, J.W. Fletcher. Lane 3, John Del Taylor, Happy Hill Secondary. Lane 4, Kyle Oliver, PBC. Lane 5, J.D. John, Grenada Seventh-day Adventist. Lane 6, Donnell Park, Wesley College. Lane 7, Jaziel Peters, St. Rose Modern Secondary. And Lane 8, Devon George of SAS.
So that's the final heat, 5 or 5 in the sub-junior boys 200 meters.
So we'll await the start of this one, Irvin.
A number of field events in progress as we speak. There's the high jump sub-junior boys, the junior shot put, and also the junior girls javelin.
So let's see, it looks like lane 7 might be free at this time. Lane 6, it's Wesley College, that's Donald Park. Lane 7 is probably empty, yes, it looks. So they're on the starters orders with the sound of the pistol. The final heat of 5. They're on their marks. And they are asked to stand. And of course, once there is any indication of uneasiness at the block, the officials will ask them to stand, get themselves composed again before the instructions are given. Lane 1, St. John's Christian, J.W. Fletcher. Lane 2, Happy Hill Secondary. Lane 3, PBC. Lane 4, Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive. Lane 5, Wesley College 6, St. Rose Modern Secondary 7, and SAS runs out of lane number 8. Well, we're not seeing St. Rose Modern Secondary there. That's Jaziel Peters. It should be running out of lane 7. It seems as if he will not start.
Next on the track will be 2 heat in the senior girls 200 meters. That's following the completion of the final sub-junior boys 200 meters. They're down on the starters orders now, but
yes. So we await the pistol, should signal the start of the race. 200 meters, sub-junior boys, and they're off. And let's see who is going to move ahead. Well, out front is George of SAS in lane 8, but here comes in the middle Kyle Oliver of PBC. Oliver is ahead. He's chased there by that young man from, that's J.D. John of the Comprehensive. It's all Kyle Oliver who is going to win it. On the inside, or in lane 3 actually, it looked like John Del Taylor of Happy Hill Secondary getting the second position, a close one, and a tight third there. We'd have to wait for the, well, there we have it. Kyle Oliver, PBC 24.22. John Del Taylor of Happy Hill 25.48, and Ivan Batiste, St. John's Christian Secondary 25.52. 4th, Keon Joseph, J.W. Fletcher. 5, J.D. John, that's the Seventh-day Adventist. 6, Devon George, SAS, and 7th, Donnell Park, Wesley College. Jaziel Peters did not start.
There we see in the replay the last 40 or so meters with Oliver winning. So it's on to the senior girls, 2 heat.
That's event number 94.
In the 200 meters for the senior girls.
Exam pressures are killing me.
How can I get some help?
How can I afford to get extra lessons for my child?
But how do I know if my child is studying and understanding?
The answer is flow study. Prepare for CAPE and CSEC anywhere, anytime.
using your smartphone, computer, or tablet. Get study tips, exam strategies, past papers, and virtual labs.
It's convenient and affordable. Plus, I can monitor my child's progress.
The power to succeed at the CAPE and CSEC exams is in our hands.
Looking for quality and affordable homes? Then call the Housing Authority of Grenada. The committed and hardworking staff of designers and draftsmen will work with you to customize and deliver your dream home. We supervise the construction of your home from start to finish, ensuring the job is done according to your specifications, stress-free. Our services also include repairs or extension on your existing home, the drawing of free house plans once you build with the authority, or the flexibility to work to your specification if you have one. So don't delay. Call us today at 440-1015 or 440-1016. The Housing Authority of Grenada, improving the quality of life for citizens through the design, construction, and supervision of comfortable and affordable housing.
Alexander, St. Joseph's Conference in Andrew, Rakisha Edwards, Anglican High School, Joniah Thomas of St. David's Catholic Secondary. We have Keisha Gilchrist of St. Joseph's Conference St. George's, and Shaniqua Duncan of St. John's Christian Secondary.
Well, it's a good look to high school and to convent Grenville in that event. Of course, they are the two schools in the girls division going neck and neck.
All right, so we're getting ready for the first of two heats in the girls, the senior girls 200-meter dash. From where we are, I'm only seeing 4 athletes featured, and in that, out of lane 1, we're seeing
Demi Henry is there. That's St. John's
Christian. We also seen Chevelle Mark of the Christian Academy. Then Crystal Mapson of Anglican High is there, and out in lane 6, it looks like
Forrester. Convent Grenville.
So let's see, it looks like Mapson of the Anglican High School who was moved ahead. Also Convent Grenville is in there, that's Makeda Forrester, but it's Mapson and Forrester. In lane 1, there's also Demi Henry of St. John's Christian, but it is Mapson who's going to take it. Yes, indeed, Henry of St. John's Christian getting second, and that looks like Forrester of Convent Grenville getting the third. In fact, Irvin Mapson has been working really hard for the Anglican High School. She's been featured in so many events here at Intercol.
But she ran a good race.
Very good. There you can see the replay. As she got to the 150 mark, she was well placed, and coming now into the final 100 meters, she was ahead of the pack. She was able to maintain that and get a very comfortable victory. Demi Henry of St. John's Christian holding on by a narrow second, and she was followed by Makeda Forrester of St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrew, and Chevelle Mark of the Christian Academy getting the 4th place. Mapson Irvin 26.76.
Okay, and the other heat will feature Princess Whiteman of the Anglican High School.
Also, Rakisha Checkley of St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrew. In fact, they will be running side by side, 1 and 2. Renita Charles of SAS is also featured. She's a fine athlete, middle distance. I'm surprised to see her in the 200-meter dash here, but you can count her out. And in fact, they're off. And let's see, Whiteman has moved ahead for Anglican High School. Ooh, she's blazing the track. Whiteman of High School in lane number 2. Let's see who is getting close to her. It looks like Trisha Ferreira, but on the outside, it is Renita Charles of SAS. But Whiteman has a comfortable lead. She's going to win it very easy. She's followed by Ferreira, or is it Charles of SAS?
SAS second. and
Ferreira of Convent getting third. But a very, very comfortable win there,
Princess
by
Whiteman
Princess
of
Whiteman of
Anglican
High School.
Not surprising.
There we have it, Irvin, the official result. Princess Whiteman, a time of 25.93. Charles of SAS, 26.66. And Tricia Ferreira of Convent St. George's in 26.87. Ethelyn Noel of Hillsborough Secondary, 4th, 28.74. Rokisha Checkley of Convent St. Andrew, 29.08. Anisha Pierce at Davis Catholic, 29.51.
Well, we still have the boys, of course. Here we're looking at the replay with Princess Whiteman running and winning in fine style. And it's the party has started.
Oh yes,
on the bleachers. Well, actually that's the covered pavilion. That's there we see the bleachers now. We have 3 preliminaries in the boys, the senior boys 200 meters. We should see some fire there. The first heat featuring Peters of SAS, Cador of the Anglican of the Happy Hill Secondary in lane 1, Peters of SAS in 2, Benjamin of St. Rose in 3. We have Matthew Paul of the Grenada Seventh-day Adventists in lane 4, Collins of Wesley College in 5, Gibson of St. David's Catholic Secondary in 6, from MacDonald College in lane number 7, that's Jake Matthew, and Frederick in lane number 8 from the Boca Secondary, that's Nick Frederick of the Boca Secondary out in lane number 8. Not sure if all the lanes are filled, but it's a full house here. 200 meters, heat 1 for the senior boys. 3 heats, that's 1 of 3 for the senior boys, 200 meters. The noise level, of course, every time there's a victory, in particular for the Grenville schools, the noise level goes up. So we're moving on quite fine here at the National Stadium, day 3, the third and final day of Intercol 2018. The St. Joseph's Convent St. Andrews holding a slight lead. They're extending it over the Anglican High School in the girls. The Grenada Boys Secondary School holding a sizable lead enough over the St. Andrews Anglican Secondary School SAS, their main rivals, and of course they are the defending champions. That's GBSS and high school in the girls. But we witnessing on screen now the lineup for the 200 meters, first heat in the 200 meters for senior boys. Godfrey?
Yes, and they're getting to their mark now. We see featured here Dame Peters of SAS running out of lane 2. There's also Matthew Paul of the Greater Seventh-day Adventist in lane 4. We have to look in his direction. There's Kyle Gibson of St. David's Catholic in 6. Just a few names, and they're off, and let's see who is going to move ahead. Paul looks like he's moved ahead for the 70 Adventists, but here comes the Dame Peters of SAS out of lane 2, 150 mark. It is a Dame Peters, but it is Paul and a Dame Peters. There's also yes indeed, Kyle Gibson of St. David's, but Dame Peters well ahead by some 5 meters. I think Paul is going to get the second place, and Kyle Gibson of St. David's Catholic Secondary will settle for third.
A great race,
it is indeed.
From Paul from SAS, running out of lane number 2.
22.64 Irvin, a wonderful time indeed. Matthew Paul of SDA 23.12, and Kyle Gibson 23.14. I get the feel though, looking at Gibson of St. David's. Once he got hold of Paul, he just shut it down. I think he figured he would qualify quite easily, and there was no need to push. So we should not take him for granted in the final. As we look at the replay, that's Dame Peters on the inside in lane 2, placing himself well for the victory. Paul is there, Gibson is there, 1, 2, 3, SAS, Grenada Comprehensive, and St. David's Catholic Secondary. Fourth, it was Nick Frederick of Boca, 24.47. Javid Smith, Wesley College, 24.89. Tyrese Cador, Happy Hill Secondary, 25.31. Benjamin and Matthew did not start.
Okay, and the second heat will feature Singin Noel of GBSS in lane number 3. We saw him on the 100 meters. A great is expected of him. One will wait to see what will transpire, but he's definitely.
There's also Oven Javel Best.
Javel Best of 7 Day
Adventist. A fine athlete as well. So, and Best should be running out of lane 1. Kazim James of St. Rose Modern Secondary should be running out of lane 2. Sinkin Noel, GBSS lane 3. DeAndre Smith, McDonald College lane 4. Brandon Mitchell, St. John's Christian Secondary lane 5. Nixon Edwards of the Christian Academy runs out of lane number 6. Brent Hoston of Happy Hill Secondary 7. And Stefan Alexander of St. Mark's Secondary runs out of lane 8.
Okay, and here we have the qualifiers now for the 200 meters senior girls from the Anglican High School. Mapson, 26.76. Demi Henry of St. John's Christian Secondary. Forrester of St. Andrew's Convent St. Andrew. And Mark from the Grenada Christian Academy. Also Princess Whiteman from the Anglican High School, Renita Charles of SAS, Ferreira of the St. Joseph's Convent, St. George, Noel of Hillsborough Secondary. Those were the qualifiers for the 200 meters senior girls later this afternoon.
So we're with the start of the second of 3 preliminaries for the boys 200 meter dash, and that's in the senior division. As we told you, Best is there from the Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive, James from St. Rose Modern, Sinkin Noel of GBSS, Smith of McDonald College, Mitchell of St. John's Christian, Edwards of the Christian Academy, Hoston of Happy Hill, and Alexander St. Mark's Secondary. It seems as if lane 4 might be vacant. That looks like
and also there's a bit of hold up. We're not sure as to the problem down there.
Well, they're getting to the mark.
They're getting to the mark now.
But quite a few of the lanes seem to be empty. 1 and 3 and 5. 1, 3 and 4.
No, 1 is that's Javel Best. He's there.
Yes, Best is there. So it's. So we are with the start of this one. And they're off, and let's see what happens here. Best and Noel, the 2 fastest there. Here comes Sinkin Noel already. Stamping his authority. So it is Noel and Best, but in the middle there, it looks like St. John's Christian Secondary, but he's way back. It is going to be Noel, followed by Best. Quite an easy win, and of course that's Brandon Mitchell, St. John's Christian, bringing up the 3rd.
And
wait for the official results.
GBSS continue their dominance in the field events. 1 and 2 in the senior boys discus. Calvin Nakret, 47 point.
Now, Alvin, let me just cut you. I'm looking at Sinkin Noel. Look at the way he's walking.
He has a limp.
Are we sensing something there?
He definitely slowed the last 20 or so meters.
But he's an athlete that has been plagued with injuries over the years. From the lower divisions.
All right, if you looking at the replay now,
here he comes, a fine athlete though. Sinkin Noel of GBSS in lane 3 there, stamping his authority. On the inside of him, Javel Best of the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive and Mitchell. So Sinke now shutting it down. Also Best, and of course Mitchell, all three. It looks like McDonald College there. No, that would be St. Mark Secondary. Stefan Alexander getting the 4th position in this one.
So going back to the senior boys discus, GBSS taking 1st and 2nd. Calvin Lacrette winning with a throw of 47.41 meters. Joanne Jeremiah 2nd. Matthew Regis of St. David's Catholic Secondary was 3rd, and SAS picking up 4th in Kerry Collier. That's the discus for senior boys. So GBSS continuing their dominance in the field events.
And we weren't able to pick up the time for Sinking Oil. I hope we can get it shortly in that last 200 meters. But we're getting ready for the start of the final heat. Lane 1, Nathaniel Mack, GBSS. Lane 2, Stephen Brown, Bishop's College. Lane 3, Shamar Williams, Wesley College. Lane 4, Darren Phillips, SAS. Lane 5, Josh Batiste, Wester Hall. Lane 6, Joseph Peters, Christian Academy. Lane 7, Kwame Jeremiah, St. David's. And Lane 8, Anderson Mason, St. Mark's Secondary. So let's see how this one plays out. We look to the middle, Josh Batiste, Darren Phillip. Lane, that's 4 and 5. Wester Hall and SAS. Let's see how this one works out. Mark of GBSS went out of lane 1. Lane 5 seems to be vacant, Irvin.
Lane 5, that should be Josh Batiste of Wester Hall.
Yes, it's vacant. Clearly we're not seeing the iguana colors there. They're on their mark. St. David's is there, Kwame Jeremiah.
Okay, so Darren Phillip in 4
there.
And Nathaniel Mark of GBSS in lane 1.
So they're off, and let's see what happens here. They come around that first bend. As they enter, it looks like, is it SAS? Yes, and Bishop's College. So it looks like Brown and Phillip. Brown has moved ahead. Brown has moved ahead of Bishop's College. Here comes the Christian Academy. That's Peters. It is Brown. It is Peters of the Christian Academy. I make it, Irvin.
Yes, it's Brown, Peters, and SAS. That will be Phillip, Darren Phillip of SAS taking up 3rd there.
So yes, indeed, Joseph Peters of the Christian Academy got the victory there. 22.45. Fantastic run by him. Stephen Brown of Bishop's College got the 2nd, 22.50, and Corey Joseph of SAS, actually. It was Corey Joseph who ran there. 22.60. Again, a little mix-up. So here comes the replay. And as they get into that final 100 meters, it was Bishop's College, Stephen Brown, who was ahead slightly of Corey Joseph, but here was that young man from the Christian Academy, Joseph Peters, running out of lane 6. And of course, as they got to the finish line, dipped and got the victory. So it is Joseph Peters, Christian Academy, yes, 22.45, and Stephen Brown, Bishop's College, 22.50. Corey Joseph of SAS, 22.60. Kwame Jeremiah, St. David's Catholic, 23.58. Shamar Williams, Wesley College, 23.60. Lyndon Charles, GBSS, 23.61. And Anderson Mason of St. Mark Secondary, 24.82. Josh Batiste of Wester Hall did not start. So that takes us to the end of the
200
yeah,
meters.
for the 200 meters, and I think this is where we have to make way for Joseph and Leslie once again. So folks, we'll hand you over to Joseph Cador and Leslie Smith. We'll be back with you just about a little after 1 o'clock this afternoon. So until then, continue enjoying Intercol 2008. If you can, feel free to come on down to the National Stadium and get the action firsthand. If not, then GBN Television, of course, is bringing you all the live action. We take a quick break and then we come back with Joseph and Leslie.
RENDEC Community Partnership Initiative.
It is an honor for me to be part of this historic handing over. These musical instruments are very timely since they will be used by our National School Orchestra. We are aware of the importance of engaging our young people in the cultural art. Let me say how thankful we are at the ministry for this generous offer from Grenlec. Please be assured that every effort will be made to protect them.
RENDEC, energizing our community.
At the food fairs, our range of surefine products affords you the opportunity to have it all without spending it all. Compare the prices and experience the savings. At our Carinash branch, the food fair shuttle will take you to and from the St. George's bus terminal after filling your baskets without emptying your pockets. The food fairs, Carinash St. George's and Grandand Shopping Center for quality service, affordable prices.
How do you choose your toilet paper? Just because it's soft and light. That's how I choose my toilet paper. Made right here in the Isle of Spice. Cherish Springs off Harbor Bay. Super value every day. The price is right and locally they're made. Support local when you purchase Cherish and other quality brands from Grenada Paper Products.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our morning flight. We'll be flying at 35,000 feet, so sit back and enjoy the flight.
A strong young man begins as a fit little boy. Just 1 teaspoon of 7 Seas cod liver oil daily provides essential omega-3 and helps to meet important vitamin needs, giving him long life, health, and helping him live his dreams. 7 Seas keeps kids healthy and mothers happy.
It is going to increase, and certainly you're expecting the beaches to be more highly populated.
Well, it's not bad yet since it's early stages. We're still just about midday, half past midday thereabout, and we expect maybe after lunch and after work later on, certainly we will see a lot more. But I would still say that we're expecting more students to be here at this time. They stayed away for 2 days, so we expected that they would have come in early today.
I'm a bit, and on that though, I'm a fraction disappointed though. I mean, you would have assumed they haven't missed the first 2 days. Certainly this is the last day. You would assume for the general population, fine, maybe work and all of that, they would probably make an appearance late in the second half of the day. But certainly, I mean, for 23 schools participating in a national meet as this, it's a bit disappointing in the support that you get from the school population itself. And people might be wondering, well, how are we able to estimate it? The school population has been separated from the general population. They're on the open bleachers. So for 23 schools across the islands, certainly, let's assume 100 comes from each school. I'm not even sure if we get close to that, but certainly, let's keep our fingers crossed as the evening progresses, things are going to heat up. We're looking at in progress though, there is the shot put. The athlete taking a tumble. He's imagination. That's not either way. So we probably need to give consideration to maybe looking at the cost. But let's look at the leaderboard now. But of course, in process on screen is event number 74, the boys shot put. The story continues, the seesaw, the back and forth, the tales of 4 schools, 2 cities. We start with the girls. SJC, they ended day number 2, just about 6 points or so in the lead. Well, they've come this morning, Leslie, and they have buckled down. They have certainly done quite a bit, sufficiently enough to consolidate that push for for championship glory. They are now on 273.67 points. The Anglican High School, as a tag team outfit, they are on 234. St. Andrew's Anglican, one has to only but ask the question: how much of an issue, how much of a concern have they been to both, of course, the aspirations of the Anglican High School and Convent St. Andrew? Because SAS alone, Leslie, in the girls, they've accumulated 181 points. So certainly, and that would have been points, vital points, that either one of the top 2 contenders could have easily done with. I can imagine they're probably saying to SAS, just split your points, give us half each, and let's see how we can just move on with this.
And bring this up to... and take the championship up to Grenville.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, they probably say that. I mean, like seriously, guys, we're in the same parish. Why are we competing? And then, Leslie, it probably brings into sharper focus the question, you've heard it over the years, whether or not the 2 schools from Carriacou, Bishop's College and Hillsborough Secondary, should. The question is, should they? Could it possibly happen?
Well, they were together at one time. My personal feeling is that they should enter as separate entities. They're actually 2 different schools. And we've seen that even coming as separate schools, they're holding their own. They're in the top 5.
Right.
And it doesn't mean if they join together, they would do better. Because remember, they would only allow 2 athletes for events still. So it's not 4 athletes now. So if we combine their points, we're combining 4 athletes' points here in some cases. Right? But then we'd only have 2 athletes. So you would not have the same reflection on the score sheets. But I still think that they can come by themselves and hold their own. They're doing well by themselves, and I want to see that continue.
We continue to post a look. We had quite an active audience on Facebook. The numbers continue to climb quite rapidly. And of course, we have persons, Leslie, from all corners of the globe, actually. You probably could give us a little sampling of where persons are actually viewing from.
Well, North America, I have a colleague who just messaged me from Germany. He's in the military. He's Grenadian, but he's stationed in Germany. He has just called me to ask me the scores. He's watching from Germany. We have people in Canada. We are from Trinidad. The entire Caribbean is logged in on Facebook. And of course, there are a number of folks here in Grenada who is also viewing either on the television sets or on the Facebook platform.
While the shot put is in progress, event number 74, we're just going to go just to finish wrap up on the points tally.
I'm sure there are those of you out there who are interested also in the boys category. It's not very often the focus shifts primarily to the girls, but it's a little bit, the competition is much tougher in the girls category than in the boys. And the top 5 schools in the boys category are Presentation Brothers College on 122. Fenton, you must be happy, and you're saying that per capita, PBC might be in front. Hillsborough Secondary, they're in 4th position on 126. Bishop's College is on 147 in 3rd position. And we were making the point about the schools from Carriacou, so they're in 3rd and 4th at the moment. SAS is in 2nd on 292. And the defending champions, the Grenada Boys Secondary School, up front on 343 points. So GBSS has what looks like a 51-point lead here over SAS, having won and having placed 1st and 2nd in the discus for senior boys, something that we expected them to do on day 3.
No doubt at all. So, but just to get back to so of course, again reminding you, and people have been asking, even from last night, I remember when Adams and I did the update, they were persons were wondering, well, why is there so much focus on the boys? I mean, certainly, it is, the rivalry, it is much more intense there. While, of course, there's always been the rivalry between SAS and GBSS, it's a rivalry Leslie, that we've gotten used to over the years. So it's easier for us to digest it and assimilate that. But certainly a rivalry between Convent Grenville and the Anglican High School.
We've never seen it that close.
That one takes us a more religious, a more spiritual tone.
And I think that's what everybody is focusing on now.
Yes.
Even if you look at the comments from the viewers on Facebook, a lot of comments in that particular area, and that's why maybe Convent came down so early this morning in their large numbers.
And you kept saying over the years they've actually played second fiddle. They've been there looking and watching and waiting, and then every time it didn't matter which school actually won, be the Anglican High School or the St. David's Catholic Secondary, they've always been there second place. Is this the year? Is this the year, Leslie?
I spoke with the principal moments ago, and she's very tempered. She's not too overzealous about the whole thing. But they're in with a very good chance, Convent St. Andrews.
Could this be the year that the girls from Convent in St. Andrews, they take the trophy up? Is this the year that you see a unification of the title in the big parish? We've seen it in St. George's with Anglican High and the GBSS. Is this the year it happens in big parish?
It is possible that the girls could win. The boys, to me, is a little bit of a tougher challenge. But I'm sure, Joe, while we speak about Convent Grenville, Anglican High School is not going to go down without a fight.
Oh, that's
Coach Rhonda Henry, Princess Whiteman, Crystal Mopson, the entire fraternity of old girls, as we call them, of the Anglican High School, will be giving off more than 100% to retain the championship. A while ago we were saying whether it's legacy or victory. It might just be both.
It might just be both. Because of course the legacy comes with the victory. But certainly the victory comes first and the legacy comes thereafter. But just being part, I think for a lot of these athletes, just being part of the Anglican High School, SAS, go in to at least one of these institutions when it comes to, of course, Intercol, right? Certainly it's a rich legacy, and we know for the girls at the Anglican High School, it's something that they really hold, and that is dear to their heart. So there's a high jump in progress on the field, but again, we just want to give you an update on what is happening in terms of some of the individual performances in the field.
I'm sure many of you might be interested in the qualifiers for the boys 200-meter dash. With the fastest time, it was from the Grenada Christian Academy. No, sorry, it was Sinkin Noel from the GBSS, 22.43. The second fastest time was Joseph Peters of the Grenada Christian Academy, 22.45. And the third fastest time was Adam Peters of SAS, 22.64. These were the three automatic qualifiers, and then the next best times were Matthew Paul of the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive, 23.12. Kyle Gibson of St. David's Catholic Secondary, 23.14. Javel Best of the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive, 22.70. And Stephan Brown, who won the 400 meters yesterday, he qualified with 22.50. So too was Corey Joseph of SAS with 22.60.
Well, there's also things happening in the girls' long jump in the sub-junior. Keena Thomas of Bishop College, she captured gold, fifth, with a leap of 5.42 meters. So she captured gold with that. But here's what interesting, that you continue to look at the results, Leslie. So Bishop College, they won gold. They got 12 points. The Anglican High School, certainly they were more than happy. They settled for silver. They got 8 points. But let's go down the ladder. Remember with the score. Look at that. You have now in the 5th and 6th position was captured by Convent Grenville. Look at them. As Kiana Ferre and Brynell Thomas. For 5th position, she captured 4 points. Thomas, she captured 3. Combined, they got 7 points. And of course, you look down, you continue down the line. Of course, Rachel Noel from McDonald College. She played 7th. And the last of us, Renella Bob, that captured 1 point in 8th position. So, while of course high school, they probably say that's not, but when you combine the points now, not much has happened. So, but let's keep, and that's the sort of appetizing back and forth. and competitive yield that we've been getting from these athletes. One wants to make a surge, and no sooner they attempt to make the surge, the other one says, They continue to stalk each other, but it will be good at least to see in the second half of the day what happens on the leaderboard.
So we just went through the point standing a while ago, and at the moment SJC Grenville leads in the girls category and GBSS leads in the boys category. The upcoming event on the track would be the girls 400 meter dash for prep, and then that will be followed by the boys. They're not yet onto the track, but as soon as they do so, we will bring it to you. There are some field events that are going on at the moment, and we see some jubilant fans over there in the stands, and they have been very noisy and vociferous all day long, and we expect that would intensify as the evening draws closer.
No arguments to that. And if you think the current student population conjures up that sort of that kind of fervor, if you go to the main pavilion here, where there is the GBSS contingent and a SAS contingent that's of past pupils, so that they themselves, they have created a carnival-like atmosphere down there. And of course, there's no holds barred, and nobody's given anything to chance.
So let's go through some other results that we have here. The girls traveling through for juniors. In first position was Ashley Bennett of SAS, 32.57 meters. Second was Amaya Charles of St. David's Catholic Secondary, 32.39 meters. Darlene Evans Lambert of Anglican High School was third with 31.85 meters. Nariba Samuel of Bishop's College, 31.19. Rhea Benjamin of Hillsborough Secondary, 30.60. Chantel Bartholomew of SJC St. George, she was in sixth position, 29.94. Carrie Alexander of SAS was in seventh position with 29.48, and in eighth position, Aliyah Joseph of Hillsborough Secondary, 27.79. So Anglican High School would have picked up some valuable points here in third position, and obviously closing the gap that the SJC St. Andrew has on them at the moment.
Well, not much happening on the field. We are waiting. We're talking about, it's a bit of a lull. That's the GBSS contingent right adjacent to them. On the opposite side, there is a SAS contingent. So there's GBSS SAS and there is PBC Cannons. So there's...
And that's a shot from the pavilion. This is the bleachers here.
That's the bleachers here. That's a shot. So each, and you're right, you're noticing more and more that a lot of that merchandising, Leslie, has been introduced as part of the party atmosphere that is created. There's the t-shirts, there's the polos, there is the thunder sticks, the caps, the visors, and a whole lot. And I guess all of that has been brought into focus, given that that is a corporate entity, and of course it is, of course, the corporate element been added for them. They get full mileage out of it. And so
additional to that, I think there is a huge passion of support for the alma maters, and everybody comes out here now with that fervor and that eagerness to want to support, and that's what track and field has really brought out in Grenadians from a long time ago. It's just showing up more now because people maybe are exposed to more paraphernalia that they can come to the stadium with and display their support to their teams.
Well, no, that is just a picturesque view. Majestic.
I don't think you can get better than that, Joe.
Well,
this
paradise.
is fantastic.
No, that's a picture. I mean, quite a majestic view. And I have to again say, kudos to our camera crew and the rest of the team. They have been doing a phenomenal job today of literally capturing the sights and the songs of what's emanating down here from the Kiranite Athletics. They've been changing the angles of the shots and been a whole lot of things. I saw this morning they gave us a reverse angle of the starting block up on the 100, and I said to myself, wow. So we got to get ready for the next event on the field. It is the event number 98. Is the 400 meters dash in the prep division. At the top one advanced automatically in the next three best times. Heat 1 of 5. Then there's Kedana Duncan of GSS is in 1. From McDonald College, Kimberly McQueen occupies lane 2. Nesson in lane number 3 is Tessira John of St. Rose Northern Secondary. Janella Jones of Bishop's College is in 4. And they're off Leslie quite often at just 3. It's a reduced field though.
A much reduced field indeed. And let's see who's going to do well here. Rhea Joseph of SAS is supposed to be featured in this heat. She is one to look out for. So too is Janella Jones of Bishop's College. But I have not seen any of them in the event, but Kedona Duncan of Grenville Secondary certainly is there. Janella Jones from Bishop's College, she's the one leading the race at the moment. And maybe the injuries continue to have its toll on some of these teams as we go further into day 3 of competition. But it's Janella Jones. She came in with 1 minute 6.10 seconds as the best time for the season. And she's leading this one here, going around the final bend before she heads into the straightaway. It's Janella Jones of Bishop's College. That's the GTC Bishop's College. On the inside is Grenville Secondary in Kedona Duncan. But Jones is going to win it easy. She can tone it down. She can shut off the engine now and just coast over the line. That's exactly what she does. She wins her heat and qualifies automatically into the finals. And we see from Grenville Secondary, Kedona Duncan. And it looks like here in lane 3 from the St. Rose Modern Secondary, Tissera John.
So that's heat 1 of 5. We'll continue again. We've been getting a lot of reviews too, also via social media. That shot that was the one that you have on screen now. I have my good friend. Hi TC. I know TC. He's actually taking it in from home, but certainly he's enjoying it. But there's apparently a discussion that is really been gathering some momentum online regarding the cost of the Intercol games and the issue concerning the frequency of the number of athletes that's been going down. There's a lot of questions being asked. I'm certainly from our end. I mean, there are people sending me on WhatsApp, why don't we address it? We can actually just make a reference to it. We don't have any empirical data as to just what may or may not be. We can suggest and intimate certain factors, but certainly it would be a good enough issue that should be brought to the fore, and maybe the Principals Association, no doubt, Leslie, would want to take some more introspective look into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. The cost is a prohibiting factor. I know for a fact some people are unable to meet those costs. And I think there are a number of other things that the organizers of this meet need to look at. Certainly they need to look at the point system. Certainly they need to look at the scheduling of the events. We see athletes having to do maybe 3 and 4 grueling events on one day. Certainly they need to look at the age categories, but we'll come back to that.
As your lane assignment, Christian Academy is going to run out of 1. Leslie?
As they're off, it's pretty much slow start, but these are the prep girls in the 400 meters. SAS is there in the middle with Donlyn Patris. She has made up the stagger, but also looking good is Bishop's College in Micah Bethel. She's also looking good in the middle of the pack here. McDonald College is also there in Shatonia Stafford on the outside, but it looks as though is the athlete from Boca Secondary, Jadel Thompson, and maybe the athlete from Bishop's College in contention to McDonald College giving good chase. So too is Anglican High School in Toussaint Manwaring. She's in lane 2, but in lane 1 is the Grenada Christian Academy, Rihanna Jules, who leads this one going into the home straight. Leona Jules with a good lead here. She's going to win the seat and qualify. It looks as though it's Boca and SAS contesting for second. SAS seems to have the edge in Donlyn Patris, but Rihanna appears to be winning this one. But here comes SAS at the edge, and SAS may have just clipped her on the line. That's Donlyn Patris. The race is not over till you cross the line, Joe. And Grenada Christian Academy, Rihanna Jules may thought that she was across the line already, Joe.
Talk about being snuffed up on it. and I guess that's the thing, she's seen a bit lost as to what's happening on her surroundings. But of course, started off as a pretty slow race, and that's what it turned out into. So that was heat 2 of 5. Next on the track would be heat 3 of 5, and we'll give you.
So the race was actually won by Donlyn Patris of SAS, and Rihanna Jules came in second. The time 1 minute 5.32 seconds by Patris, and 1 minute 5.59 seconds by Grenada Christian Academy's Rihanna Jules. So remember, the athletes, they must be coached properly, and they must run through the finish line. There she was with a good lead, but not being able to hold on, slowing down maybe too early, and there came Donlin Patrice from SAS, not going to be giving up till the very end, and just managing to clip her on the line and winning the seat to automatically qualify into the finals.
Of course, the race isn't over not until you've crossed the line, and certainly she paid for the folly of her ways. Maybe a bit absent-minded. I'm probably just assuming, well, I've done enough, let me just cruise home. And I love that exactly, because it is qualification, Leslie. In the back of the mind, that's the sort of sentiments that they express into themselves. Well, I don't need to do too much. Let me just cruise home. But we're getting ready for the other event on the track. That's heat 3 of 5. And that is in the girls' prelims 400. Shalom Bristol runs out of 1 for Boca Secondary. Nadecia Fletcher for Grenville Secondary occupies lane 2. Nestled in lane number 3 is Ronika Williams for St. Rose Bottom Secondary. On her side is Daniela Modest for St. Mark's Secondary. Keeping her in check is Rishona and Danielle from Convent in Grenville. And of course also there, that's she, not there, then we have, that's St. George's, sorry. And then, of course, you have Daniela Wells. Of course, she's been a frequent staple for Convent in St. Andrews. She is nestled in lane number 6. And for Sabrina Mitchell, she runs in lane number 7, and she represents the Happy Hill Secondary School. I'm assuming, Leslie, your eyes are on
Daniela Wells, SJC St. Andrews, definitely, and Rishona Daniel of the SJC St. George. These are 2 athletes that will definitely be in contention here for automatic qualification, but they'll be challenged by all of the others in the event. Shalom Bristol, Nadecia Fletcher, Ronika Williams, Rishona Daniel, I mentioned Sabrina Mitchell of the Happy Hill Secondary. All of them would want to stake a claim for a position into the finals. Let's see how this one turns out.
And it's not just into the finals. It was taking a claim for gold medals, a claim for accumulating new points that goes towards what affects that championship run for either of the schools. It will be quite interesting as to see, Leslie, how the evening pans out. And it certainly is going to be a scintillating evening. And of course, you can only just but possibly imagine the sort of excitement there's going to be either way, whichever of these schools are eventually crowned champions of this 2018 edition of the Intercol Games.
So they're about to start. That's heat number 3 of 5. Let's see who is hungrier here for the qualification spots. They're in the on the marks position. They're up and running. And nice slow start here, but SJC St. George is already making up the stagger here. That's Rishona Daniel over Daniel Modest. St. Mark's Secondary, Daniel Modest comes back in nicely here. She's not going to be giving up too easy. That's her in front there. Daniel Modest. And she's gone out nicely here. SJC St. George trailing some distance. That's Rishona Daniel. We still have not seen any move made by Daniela Wells of SJC St. Andrew. On the inside, it looks like Grenville Secondary, Fletcher gaining some ground here, but up front still is the St. Mark's Secondary, Daniel Modest. Coming around the turn is Daniel Modest, but here comes, it looks like Wells now. She has changed gears certainly. Wells powering her way down the straight into the finish line. Daniela Wells it is. Looking good and winning convincingly for her school and advancing into the finals. St. Joseph Convent, St. George is second with Rishona Daniel as the pandemonium continues in the stands for the SJC St. Andrews students.
As to say if they ever needed an additional push, they just got it. If the Convent girls from Grenville ever needed an additional push, they just got it. I mean, that was quite a really great run there by Wells, and she was almost seemingly out of the picture. We knew, of course, the quality of the athlete that she is, and that she was expected to make a challenge for it. Of course, but as you see them, they're coming around at the top bend, and she seemed quite calm, quite relaxed, not really laboring too hard, and you probably would say to yourself that there's not much in it for her.
Well, she timed her race beautifully. She knew when she had to make a move, just about this time here.
120 meters, she just dipped into it and literally shift gears and motoring home, easing away at the ground below her. So that was the completion of heat 3 of 5. The other events to come is event 4 of 5. Your lane assignment, Renaya Alexander for Hillsborough Secondary runs it of 1. Shahara Walters runs it of 2 for Convent St. Andrew. For St. David's Catholic, it is Aliyah Gihari. Then Shadell Joseph, she runs for Wester Hall Iguanas in lane number 5. Ariel Roberts, she's there in lane number 6 for Beacon High, and cradled out in lane number 7. It is Samia Kador of the J.W. Fletcher.
What is interesting here, Kador, is Wester Hall Secondary School Iguanas. In recent years, or for several years, they have not participated in the girls category. They only competed in the boys. But this year we see quite a lot of the young ladies from Wester Hall Secondary participating. They're actually running here now in lane 5 at Shadell Joseph for Wester Hall Secondary. So it's good to see them at least fielding teams in the girls categories now.
And it's interesting, you know, for a pretty relatively young school, they had two or three majestic years when they literally came out of nowhere and became a force to reckon with. Since then, seemingly, while they've had these little sporadic moments of glory, you kind of get a sense that, I'm not sure, what's his name? Is it Castle? I'm not sure.
Castle.
Is he actually still there?
I think so.
We'll probably get back to that.
So it's heat 4 or 5?
Heat 4 or 5, yes.
400-meter dash for prep. A little bit of fidgeting there, but nonetheless they're up and running. There we see Wester Hall Secondary Iguanas in the neon green. St. David's Catholic Secondary, Aliyah Gidhari, she is there. And from SJC St. Andrew, Shahara Walters. So it seems as though only 3 participants in this one, 3 competitors. And Wester Hall Secondary is still in the lead here with Shadell Joseph. But I'm sure Sahara Walters from SJC St. Andrews would want to stake a claim here for going into the final. St. David's Catholic Secondary, Aliyah Gidhari, she's also a top contender, but as they run the final bend, it's SJC St. Andrews that look to have a slight lead, but is seriously challenged by St. David's Catholic Secondary, who takes the lead now. St. David's Catholic Secondary enters the home straight in the lead and is pulling away from SJC St. Andrew, that's Sahara Walters, but it is Aliyah Gidhari. She's going to qualify for the finals later on this evening with this run that she has just about to complete. In second is Sahara from SJC St. Andrew, and from the Wester Hall Secondary School is Shadell Joseph in third position.
You notice in here again, Leslie, that what of course on paper was supposed to be a full flight of athletes has again been reduced. And the question is, what is, you're not really quite sure why. What could have possibly would have transpired that would warrant it that 3 athletes are not there? It's possible that there's a lot we've seen happening on the field, and maybe there's a lot of other issues that's probably taking place behind the scenes that we're not aware of. But certainly whatever it is.
It could be injury, it could be some athletes may be tired, or what I would hate to believe is that some schools may think that they are out of the top 5, the top 10, and say, let's just participate where we think we have a better chance. I hope that's not the case, though.
That would not be good for the spirit of the games, not at all. I don't even think that thought should even be literally given any consideration. I mean, once you hear, you have to maintain the spirits of the game and participate. Barring injuries, God forbid, then understandable. But certainly, let's hope that has nothing to do with the issue. And it's just part of all you and I just making conversation.
It's just speculation.
Yes, just speculations.
So that's the youngster here from the St. David's Catholic Secondary School. That's Aliyah Gidhari. advancing into the finals of the 400 meters for prep girls. We still have one heat to go, Joe. You want to take us through?
One heat in the lane assignment, St. John's Christian Secondary. Shamara Joseph runs out of lane number 1. Kelshana George runs out of 2, yet again for the Iguanas. That's Wester Hall Iguanas. Naya Ogilvy runs out of 4 for Hillsborough Secondary. Zoya Belfont, she is there, nestled in lane number 5 for Grenada Christian Academy. Running out of lane number 6 for the Anglican High School is Kanasha Lewis, and Tiana Marshall occupies lane number 7 for the Happy Hill Secondary School. Your lane assignments for the upcoming event on the track, Heat 5 of 5, Day 3, Session 1, Intercol 2018.
And there are some field events going on at the same time. We will try to switch cameras every now and again to bring you some updates on those. But it's a hush around the stadium now for the start of the final heat, Heat 5 of 5 for the 400-meter dash for prep girls. They're up and running and moving quite slow in the first 100 meters or so. But Wester Hall Secondary, it seems here in the green, in Keshona George, who has made up the early running here and early stagger. She will be challenged by Kinasha Lewis of Anglican High School. So too is Zoya Belfont of the Grenada Christian Academy. As we see now, Anglican High School in Lewis beginning to make a move in lane 6. That's Kinasha Lewis of Anglican High School. Very long strides of Kinasha Lewis. She comes around the bend with a good lead over the rest of the field. Kinasha Lewis it is. Grenada Christian Academy, Zoya Belfont, some distance behind in second position. But coming up the turn and looking good is Kinasha Lewis with a commanding lead, as we see here now. St. John's Christian Secondary, Shamari Joseph moving into second, but it's an easy victory here by a huge margin as well for Kinasha Lewis of the Anglican High School. In second, as we look to the finish line now, is the St. John's Christian Secondary. That's Shamari, and then a battle for third and fourth between Wester Hall Secondary and the Hillsborough Secondary.
Well, that one seems almost animated the way she completed that. She literally walked out on them. And certainly that was in fact a walk in the park. She did what she had to do, qualify. And you seldom get the sense for these athletes, because a lot of them, they know the athletes that they're running. When you know your field, literally she was not forced to do anything, give too much. Too much wasn't asked, not much was given. She did just enough to ensure that she got there. And of course, so that's Young Lewis. She stopped the clock at 1 minute 0.33 seconds. Converse St. John's Christian Secondary a minute 11.07 seconds, and George a minute 12.78 seconds. So much happening. It is day 3 as the final day. It's still the first session though, so there's a lot more to come, a lot more can be expected, a lot more excited, and not a lot more electricity. The euphoria is expected to heighten quite a bit. The tension is continued. There's going to be the twist and turns and the saga. This one certainly, how does it unfold, Leslie? It's only a story that only time is going to tell. But when the fat lady sings, and I understand, somebody told me they saw somewhere on Paradise Bridge early this morning.
They're the future stars of track and field, each one a potential world champion. And they're representing you, your hope, your pride, your honor, repping your country. See and support the best of the Caribbean's junior athletes. Catch all the thrills of the Flow Carifta Games anywhere, anytime, any device. Live and exclusively on Flow Sports.
Looking for quality and affordable homes? Then call the Housing Authority of Grenada. The committed and hardworking staff of designers and draftsmen will work with you to customize and deliver your dream home. We supervise the construction of your home from start to finish, ensuring the job is done according to your specifications, stress-free. Our services also include repairs or extension on your existing home, the drawing of free house plans once you build with the authority, or the flexibility to work to your specification if you have one. So don't delay. Call us today at 440-1015 or 440-1016. The Housing Authority of Grenada, improving the quality of life for citizens through the design, construction, and supervision of comfortable and affordable housing.
Of course, they're keeping the appetite in checks as well, as you probably would well expect young kids.
I'm sure a lot of water is being consumed.
A lot of water, no doubt, is being consumed.
And it's World Water Day, Joe.
It is World Water Day, so certainly it is good. And in that kind of heat, you certainly would want to make sure that they remain hydrated. But it is good to see them out in the numbers. Remember, we talked about the merchandising aspect of Intercol. Flow as a sponsor, and you're giving themselves great visibility. So wherever you are, whichever part here, those of you here at home, that look is one of the tents, the flow tents, and certainly it was creating quite a buzz. You probably would assume that the drink in question, we probably may want to
so we just saw supposedly with double allegiance. He was wearing 2 ties in his neck. We couldn't quite pick up what the ties or which schools they represent, but it's interesting, a double allegiance, so to speak.
But no, they say normally for in other spheres of life, some guys just have 2 jerseys in their bags as well.
Don't mention the colors, Joe, but we're going to give some results here for the shot put for the junior boys. In first position was DeAndre Stevens from Presentation Brothers College, 15.37. Second was Trent Simon of GBSS, 15.19. Third was Alex Joseph of Hillsborough Secondary, 15 meters flat. Fourth was Jamal Noel of Bishop's College. Fifth was Eugene Patris, also of Bishop's College. DeAndre Collins from St. David's was in 6th. Antonio Joseph of SAS in 7th. And Delvon Fortune of GBSS in 8th position. So GBSS picking up those vital points in the field events and continuing to extend on the lead over SAS.
Continue to extend, because we know certainly come this evening in the relays and on the tracks, SAS is going to be a formidable force to have to deal with. But we see down low a medal presentation ceremony is in process. We send it down to trackside.
13.40 meters. Event 73, boys discus throw senior. Bronze medalist St. David's Catholic Secondary, Matthew Regis, 36.55 meters. Silver medalist, Najako GBSS, Johan Jeremiah, 45.66 meters. Your gold medalist, Najako GBSS, Calvin Lecretz, 47.41 meters. This is the end of this medal ceremony. 4 minutes after 1 in Grenada on the Eastern Caribbean. Thank you very much, Mr. Hudson McPhail, former principal, St. John's Christian Secondary and Happy Hill Secondary. Thank you so much. Day 3, third and final day of the Scotiabank Intercol Games right here at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. We'll be back on the track shortly.
We're getting ready to go back to action on the track, event number 99. It's the boys 400 meter dash. PBC, Westmoreland, Christian Academy, Bishop's College, St. David's Catholic, Hillsborough, and Grenada Christian Academy in this one.
And they're off. What looks like a good start here. S2 is going to make up the early stagger. PBC is in lane 1. Making up the stagger on what looks like the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive. Also inside there is Bishop's College in the middle of the field, but PBC is looking good with Sean Habin. We saw Habin already winning his heat in the 100 meters. Habin in lane 1, definitely one to look out for in this one. He goes around the bend now. That's the final turn before he heads into the straightaway. He has good challenge from Rakim McFarlane out of Bishop's College in Carriacou. But it is Sean Habin who leads in heat 1 of the 400 meters for prep boys. McFarlane in second. And I make it St. David's Catholic Secondary in Mason who is in third. But it is Sean Habin of the Presentation Brothers College. He's going to win heat 1 for the boys 400 meters in the prep category. Sean Habin it is who wins this one now. In second, McFarlane out of Bishop's College. And we look to see who comes in third. And that's St. David's Catholic Secondary, Shaquin Mason. And then we have Michael Williams of the Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive School.
Yeah, comfortable win there for young Habin. And certainly the anticipation was that he was, of course, going to feature in that event. Was event number 90, heat 1 of 5. The next flight of boys is Stephon Felix of Grenville Secondary. Zachary Abel runs for St. Rose Modern Secondary. Then Zayden Pope, he's there for St. Mark Secondary. For the West Hall Iguanas, Jassim McSween runs out of lane number 4. Then Cameron DeRoche, he runs out of lane number 5 for Hillsborough Secondary. Zane LaRose, he is in 6 for the Presentation Brothers College at Versailles. Kerry Allard runs out of lane number 7. That would be the principals for the upcoming event. The replay you're seeing on screen was for the previous heat 1 of 5. The next heat to come, Leslie, is that of heat 2 of 5 for the event number 90, the boys' full 100-meter dash.
Well, Sean Habin of the Presentation Brothers College, he returned a time of 56.47 seconds. He's the automatic qualifier here because the top one from each of the heats plus the next 3 best times will advance to the finals. The record, 55.73. Elvis Gay out of Carriacou, he's also participating in these games, but obviously in a higher category. Elvis Gay prefers nowadays the longer distances, as we see the lineup here for the second heat for the 400-meter dash for prep boys.
Again, Grenville Secondary in 1. St. Rose runs out of 2. St. Mark Secondary is in 3. Wester Hall runs out of 4. Hillsborough Secondary as Cameron DeRoche, he runs out of 5. And Zane LaRose runs out of 6 for PBC. Kerry Allard occupies lane 7 for SAS. So that's your field for the next event on the track. Heat 2 of 5. And reminding you that the winner goes through automatically, plus the next 3 best times. A record set by Elvis Gay, a time of 55.73 seconds, and that record was established last year.
Well, the 400 meters, an event where Grenada has made its name and made its mark on the international scene. These are the youngsters, the youngest category in competition. So already I'm sure some of the coaches might be looking here for potential that they can work with all the way up to maybe the senior category and hopefully onto the international scene.
Well, no doubt that's probably be part of all of the exercises happening here today. City officials busy, try to keep things in check.
Some fidgeting there as well. It looks like the athlete out there in lane 7, Zane LaRose of PBC, just fidgeting on the block. We see the official who is always running, she's out of Carriacou. She is very, very energetic.
Is that Rachel?
The starter. She's going to have a word with Presentation Brothers College. We did see some movements from him very early.
Yes, still a bit.
And maybe he's been given a caution there, we're not too sure. Well, they go back down one more time. The boys 400 meters prep. Heat 2 of 5. A lot of strong breeze here fluttering across, distracting. There goes PBC again, but Joe, in fairness to him, there was a lot of distraction from the wind and paper being blown around. We saw paper being blowing and striking or sticking onto the athletes in the event. I'm not sure if the starters would have seen that, but definitely the athlete out of PBC seemed to have moved a little bit early But there could have also been an equipment malfunction because we're not sure what happened, but let's see what the starters would return on this occasion.
Well, let's keep our eyes on what's happening there. It's always good for the officials that they can stay on top of things. And
the wind was that strong that it was actually moving the lane markers.
It was.
And maybe they recognized that too and called the athletes up because a lot was happening there.
But white flag is up from one of the officials. They clear the track, and we hope sooner or later the camera angle doesn't quite give justice to that which we intend to see. There's the obvious absence of an.
So PBC is still there. That's what we were just checking. City officials moving onto the track to remove some debris. And they back down one more time. Maybe this time we will get a good start. Indeed, we get a good start this time. The boys are on their way. The 400-meter prep. An unusual style here by the athlete from SAS. Some very, very short strides. But here comes on the inside what looks like the St. Rose Modern Secondary. Zachary Abel looking very good indeed. Making up the stag and all of the athletes is Zachary Abel in lane 2 from the St. Rose Modern Secondary. St. Rose Modern Secondary, you continue to hear their names at these Intercol games. They've won a couple of the categories here with Neil Peters. But look at him go, Zachary Abel. St. Rose Modern Secondary. He's all by himself going around that final bend. Not much of a challenge from the rest of the athletes in this event. Zachary Abel it is. Sass on the outside giving some chase. So too is Grenville Secondary and Tiffon Felix on the inside. But Zachary Abel is going to win this one. He runs all by himself, just running for a good time into the finals to secure a good lane. Zachary Abel goes down. For what reason I don't know. Sass in second with Kerry Allard. There was no sign of injury from him. Maybe he's just outwinded. But Zachary Abel, the winner of this heat.
And he went in a rather unusual fashion, though. I mean, you would probably imagine as if he could have possibly damaged his tailbone. But he seemed as though he went down, not of his own volitions. Seemed to be some measure of discomfort and agony there, looking at the grimace on his face. At least he's been attended to by the officials. But of course, we're looking at the replay as they go down the backstretch. And of course, there you see him literally motoring away. So he really started digging deep, and you can see him thundering across the tracks. And literally, I mean, he really gave a lot into that one. Probably some may say maybe a little bit too much for a qualifiers. It is not it is really unusual. Not only for most athletes, Leslie, what they try to do, ensure they get the lead, maintain the lead, but he seemed to have gone literally full throttle. Slowing down a bit there though.
So there are two things here, Joe. You can run to win the race to qualify, but you can also run to win to get a good lane.
Well, that is true. So
the times is what's going to determine the lane assignments. So maybe Zachary here, maybe wanting to get that lane number 4.
For the inner lane.
And must have extended himself a little bit too much.
Well,
but he looked pretty comfortable here.
I'm not too
sure what happened to the end.
And look at him as he comes through into the finish line. And he stops and he literally goes. And that is the part that I have a little bit of a concern with.
Pretty unusual way
to go down. Certainly hope he did not hurt himself. Certainly hope. But either way, a win for him, and so of course he has secured his place in the finals of the boys 400 meters. Heat 2 of 5. We get ready for heat 3 of 5. The principals of this one, Kivon Rennie, runs out of 1 for Grenada Christian Academy. For Bishop's College, Callum De Rocher, he runs out of 2. For the GBSs, Tegan Peterkin, he is in there. Denzel Phillip, he runs out of lane 4 for Happy Hill Secondary. For the Hillsborough Secondary, there's DeAndre Bristol running out of lane number 5. There's Giovanni Aird. For Boca Secondary, he runs out of lane at number 6. And for McDonald College, there's Tafari Monroe running out of lane number 7. The lane assignment for the upcoming event, the record in this one, 55.73, set by Elvis Gay. The top one, Leslie, in each flight, they go through automatically. The next best
Well, from what we've seen over the last 2 days, we expect Tejon Peterkin to emerge. He already broke the record in the 200 meters. He won his heat in the 100 meters earlier on today. So the expectation is that Tejon Peterkin will emerge from this field here and go straight into the finals. But he would have some challenges from Deandre Bristol from the Hillsborough Secondary, Giovanni Ed from Boca Secondary, so too is Tafari Monroe of McDonald College. But they're on the mark here now, and we will see the start shortly, and we would know exactly who would be the top challengers here for Tejon Peterkin. Peterkin been impressive throughout so far. Peterkin was also third in the long jump yesterday, as we see the start of heat 3 of 5 in the prep boys 400 meters. Already Peterkin making up the stagger here and looking good, going down the back straight. That's Tejon Peterkin of the Najiko GBSS in lane 3. He still has the athlete out there from McDonald College to contend with out there in lane 7. But Peterkin coming around the bend now would feel very comfortable. But McDonald College is giving a good fight here in Tafari Monroe. Peterkin outside of our shot here now. As we look to the back of the field, Peterkin in full charge, coming around the bend. That's him right before your eyes here. The record breaker in the 200 meters, running all by himself, running against the clock, so to speak, is Tejon Peterkin of the Najiko GBSS. Smooth running lead by Peterkin. He can just shut it down now and course over the line. He opts to go the full distance. As the rest of the field comes in, Grenada Christian Academy and Kevon Rennie on the inside will take the second position. And then we have from Bishop's College, Callum DeRoche in third position.
Well, we did get the announcement from the Prime Minister that Grenada, we have, of course, minerals in our waters, oil and everything. He was running on oil. Smooth it was, Leslie. Quite a comfortable win there for him. Of course, he went into the race with the expectation that he was going to dominate it. I turn over and I see this big guy towering over me. I mean, I'm not sure what's actually going home with him. But certainly, and yet again, we saw the athlete. We saw another athlete there at McDonald College. He looked quite crisp early into the race. He was out of the blocks quite early and looking good going on the back straight. But of course, we see Peterkin literally tearing up the tracks. And of course, not sure what happened to the athlete there from SAS, from McDonald College, that is. Yet again, highlights another concern that we have regarding athletes that seems to be pulling up with a lot of injuries. And we certainly hope it isn't anything major. There you have Peterkin, and of course you're looking at the athlete. He is out there. Peterkin is literally on his way home anyway, and running against himself and the clock, maybe for a personal best. And I think they have the McDonald College athlete laboring just a bit there, but quite a comfortable win for Peterkin, and he will be quite comfortable, appreciative of his performance in this heat, and of course setting himself up for a glorious finish in the finals later on this evening.
Well, it will be interesting to see what time he has returned, but winning by a considerable distance, Joe. I mean, he could have actually turned around and look at the rest of the race and maybe do a little jump as the athletes in the stands, spectators in the stands. A convincing win indeed for Peterkin.
Convincing win indeed it is. The completion of heat 3 of 5. As we move on to the next flight of athletes, there is Moses Gulston from Wesley College. Magdala College is also there. We just feel it there though.
Daniel George Trail from SAS is also there. Byron Hector of St. John's Christian Secondary. On the inside we have Moses from Wesley College and McDonald College and Naradi Joseph, who seems to have made up the stagger nicely on the rest of the field. That's Naradi Joseph of McDonald College. He's running in lane 2. That's him right before you here. In lane 3 is from the Boca Secondary, that's Sharma Fleming. And outside we have SAS in Daniel George Trail. Trail seems to be the one in the lead from that angle we just saw a while ago, as they go around that final bend before they transition into the straightaway. But they're really pushing a lot here. The athletes from Boca, that's Sharma Fleming, and the one from SAS, Daniel. But Daniel has a slight advantage. You can see them here really contesting, really running as it's a final. Daniel digging deep here, and Daniel will automatically qualify. Boca Secondary and Shima Fleming comes in second, and it looks as though it's McDonald College, Naradi Joseph, who comes in third.
Quite a great window. I think they're comfortable with the win. Although the movement seemed a bit restricted, it seemed a bit rigid, a bit stiff though. Again, question to ask whether or not it's the demands on their body that's taking a toll on them day 3 into Intercol.
Well, that is one factor, but remember also that there is a very stiff breeze that is blowing directly into the athlete's face. And these youngsters, they're very diminutive in stature, will have to contend with that headwind that's coming straight at them.
Even the great man Kirani James, of course, last year in the Invitational, he had to contend with it. Of course, the Invitational is coming up, of course, here at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, but it Junior Bartholomew is nestled in lane number 4 for Wesley College. On his outside, keeping him in number 3, in lane number 4, keeping him in check from St. Rose Modern Secondary is Japheth Sylvester. On his outside, this is Kareem St. Bernard from J.W. Fletcher. Joshua Richards is there for the GBSS, and nestled on the outside in lane number 7 is Neilon McDonald of St. David's Catholic Secondary. That's your lane assignments and your principles for the upcoming event. Event number 58 as heat 5 of that event. 99, sorry.
So this will obviously be the final heat in this category, and we remind you that the top athlete in each of the heats will automatically qualify, and then the next best 3 times will join them into the final 8 later on this afternoon.
I'm watching the students there on the open bleachers, and it reminds me of our days in Queen's Park on the wooden bleachers.
Joe, you actually had those days?
No, those were my nights actually. I'm actually in my days now. Do not be fooled.
Anyway, the athletes are on their marks. It's not a full field of athletes here, but nonetheless we have 5 athletes competing in this one. Let's see who's going to make up the early starter here. It's too early to call, but Wesley College, I make it. Looking good in the yellow. That's Junior Bartholomew of Wesley College. St. David's Catholic Secondary, Neilon McDonald is out there in lane 7. St. Rose Modern Secondary, Sylvester is also there. GBSS is there with Joshua Richards. The athletes are putting up quite a lot in this event. 400 meters for purpose can be considered a grueling event for them. But Wesley College, Junior Bartholomew seems to be in the lead at the moment. He goes to school right next door to the athletic stadium. But on the inside now for the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive is Devin Tyson. Devin Tyson leads this one going into the final 40 meters or so. Is Devin Tyson, but here comes a surge from St. Rose Modern Secondary into second position. Devin Tyson wins it, Japheth Sylvester second, and Junior Bartholomew of Wesley College in third.
Well, another spirited run day, and quite an excellent run day from the athlete from he gave quite a good Wesley College. That is young Junior Bartholomew. And as I said, it's not very often. But then again, this is where he passes here on the track to go to school probably almost every day anyway.
It's good that we see some of the quote-unquote lesser known schools for track and field being featured in this race.
They're making a
Wesley College, Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive, St. Rose Modern Secondary, all featured prominently here, especially when you have an athlete out of GBSS in the mix as well.
But he didn't bring much to the party though.
So we see making a lot of the early running was the athlete from Wesley College, that's Junior Bartholomew. He did most of the work in this one. So too was the athlete from McDonald College. St. David's Catholic Secondary, Neelan McDonald. These are the two athletes that did a lot of the work earlier on, and then we saw the emergence of young Devin Tyson out of the Grenada Seventh-day Adventist Comprehensive School, really coming into his own after they rounded that bend and heading into the straightway. Then we saw Devin Tyson really emerging and moving away from the rest of the field.
So that would take us to the end of heat 5 of 5 of event number 99. Next on the cast is event number 100, the girls 400 meters dash. And in terms of what's in store for you as we wind down session number 1, there's still a few more items on there. There's an event 100, there's a girl 400 meters dash, there's the boys 400 meters dash, that's in the juniors. There's the girls 4x100 meters, a couple events in that. And then there's the boys 4x100 meters. So still a bit to go before we bring the curtains down on session 1 and day number 3. Of course, the bleachers, it continues to ticken. We're getting now a shot of the western side of the main pavilion, and that's the GBS's contingent that is there. The flag, of course, we're seeing on screen there now. But of course, on the track, the officials are not sparing any time to ensure that we move things speedily along. We're getting ready for event 100, the girls 400 meters dash, and that is in the junior division. Of course, at the winner of each heat, they go through automatically, and the next best times, they will qualify. The meet record for this one is 56.40 seconds, and that was set back in 1998 by Kishara George.
Well, I can tell you that is a record that would not go down in the near future. Kishara George was a phenomenal athlete, and that time of 55.73, that time of 56.40 is not going to be an easy one to surpass.
And that was a period when St. David's Catholic, they were a formidable force in that era. They literally crushed anything and anybody that literally came in their path, and they dominated those periods on the track. So Elena Simon, St. David's Catholic, Anglican High, SAS, McDonald's, Convent, Grenville, Hillsborough, Bishop's College, Convent, St. Andrew. That's the principles for this one. Heat 1 of 3, the girls 400 meter dash.
And they're off. We see the legs of the athlete from the St. Joseph Convent, St. Andrew, heavily strapped. That's Aliyah McDonald. Anglican High School is also in this one, in Abigail Jeffrey in lane 2. But making up some good ground already is Shirley Jones of Bishop's College. McDonald College is also there with C.C. Charles. So C.C. Charles is a favorite for this one. She's one of the top junior athletes. The list seems to be undone, but this should be a walk in the park for C.C. Charles. She extends a great lead here over the rest of the field. C.C. Charles from McDonald College. She's going to win this one easily and qualify to the finals. We look to see who will be coming second. Anglican High School is contesting, so too is St. Joseph Convent, St. Andrew. But CC has a look back and see she's way ahead and is just coasting home now. CC Charles of McDonald College would win handsomely. Not very often we say handsome when we're speaking about ladies, but Convent St. Andrew would come in for the second. It looks as though it is Bishop's College in third, Convent St. George in fourth, High School, and it looks like SAS making up the rest of the field. Joe, a great run here by C.C. Charles.
Quite a great run. Anything from her would have been unacceptable, and she certainly lived up to the expectations. Well, we have the results of what's happening in the field. Event 77, the girls discus throw, and there's also event. So that's just results from, okay. So in terms of the girls discus throw, we can tell you that Jamelia Nicholas of the Anglican High School, she won that with a throw of 22.40 meters. SAS Khalida Andrew came in second with a distance of 20.01 meters, and Asia May Henry of St. John's Christian Secondary with a distance of 19 meters flat. For Renee Alexander of Hillsborough Secondary, she was in fourth with 18.62 meters, and Shalina George of Convent St. George's St. George, her time 16.79. So congratulations there to Jamalia Nicholas of the Anglican High School.
Over $90 million in prizes paid out in the last 6 years. Over $32 million in assistance provided over the last 18 years. The more you play, the more we can give away. That's the pledge of the National Lotteries Authority of Grenada, supporting sports, culture, and nation building every day as you play.
Hello everyone, this is the National Lotteries Authority's Daily Pick 3 Midday Draw. It is Thursday, March 22nd, 2018. I'm your draw hostess, Leslie Ann Johnson. Supervising the draw is Miss Priscilla Barry, representing PKF Accountants and Business Advisors. And as usual, quick reminder, there are 4 different bet types in this game from which you can choose. They're called inline, mix, pair, and backup. It pays to play Daily Pick 3, so let's see if you are a lucky winner today. Good luck to you. So check your tickets on first number for today. Okay, that number is 2, the second number. The second number is 7, final number. The final number is 2. So just to recap for your benefit, our first number is 2, that's followed by 7. The final number is 2. Once again, 2, 7, 2. So congratulations if you are a lucky winner today. And of course, congratulations to all our Daily Pick 3 winners from yesterday's games. So the total payout was $85,450. There were 195 winners from both draws. The Playway draw is up next. We'll see you soon.
With more, with the NLA's Daily Cash 4. Every day, with more plays and bigger prizes to be won. It's a 4-digit game with all the bet types you already know and much, much more. From 0000 to 9999. Choose your 4 numbers and place your bet from 11 different bet types. Choose from inline, 4 different mixes, first 3, last 3, and 4 different backup options too. Best of all, it starts at just $1, except for backups, which starts at $2. Win as much as $5,000 with a $1 inline bet and as much as $6,200 in a $2 backup bet. Imagine $50,000 for a winning $10 inline bet. There's definitely more to win with the Daily Cash 4. More plays, bigger prizes, twice per day, Mondays to Saturdays. Must be 18 and over to participate. NLA, making your dreams come true while supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Hello once again, this is the National Lotteries Authority's Playway Midday Draw for today, Thursday, March 22nd, 2018. I'm your draw hostess, Leslie Ann Johnson, and with me once again is Miss Priscilla Barry. She's representing PKF Accountants and Business Advisors. In this particular game, you can bet from $1 up to $10, or you can bet in increments on any number or any dream symbol of your choice, and being with a chance to win 24 times the amount you bet. So of course, that's $24 for every $1 spent. Value your dreams and win your way with Playway. Let's see if you are a lucky one today. Good luck to you. Alright, now your tickets close by. I'll play with number 4 today. That number is 9. Once again, our play with number 4 today is 9, the number 9, and that represents Cat. Congratulations if you are today's lucky winner. And of course, to all our play winners from yesterday's games. So the total payout was $38,208, and there were 445 winners from both draws. Stay with us. The Daily Cash 4 is up next. We'll see you real soon.
Over $90 million in prizes paid out in the last 6 years. Over $32 million in assistance provided over the last 18 years. The more you play, the more we can give away. That's the pledge of the National Lotteries Authority of Grenada, supporting sports,